Hello. Right, Skywatch time. It's still very bright, but how are we doing tonight, Skywatchers? So if you're just joining us, we are doing a live UFO UAP hunt tonight, coming to you live from Wiltshire here in the UK, which is right in the heart of Crop Circle country, and just down the road from, Stonehenge. The night is still quite bright. We've got the moon up as well, so that's why it's blue. We're not seeing many stars yet, but they are there. And as it gets darker, it is going to get more contrast, and we're going to see more and more moving objects and more beautiful stars. How are we doing? Rich and Mayer's already in. There, Dan as well. Do say hello as you join us tonight there. Let us know where you're watching from. And if you had an account with the phenomena, I'd love to hear about it. And Baseman's back from the deep dive there. How are we doing? Liberty as well there. And Terry, good to see you in. So yes, we are doing a live UFO or UAP Skywatch tonight. So let's keep our eyes out for the strange and anomalous. A lot of daylight still there. Now it's dark for me down here on the ground, but said the sun hasn't fully gone around there, so this lens lets in a lot of light so we can see those objects, but it's also now letting in some of that moonlight and still some of the residual daylight there. But it won't take long, another 15 minutes or so, and that'll be a nice dark screen for us there. Lots of stars, lots of moving objects in there. Friend, you made it back as well. How are you doing there over on the tubes? And was it Lorraine as well? Thank you for the shares there. I appreciate that, guys. It is the likes, the shares, the tapping away, all that jazz that helps us reach more and more like-minded people like yourselves there. And the more eyes and minds on the phenomena, so the more we can all piece this puzzle together there. Raf is in there. Oh, you couldn't join the deep dive. Let me have I'll have to check into that one in a second then, Raf, for you. Did the member thing run out? I'll have to sort that one out. Scooby is in. Hello from Florida. I love a little bit of Florida to me. There, Adam as well. Good to see that. And Carl, thank you for the gifts. Appreciate all that. All goes back into the stream there. As Liberty says, hit the like. Do appreciate it. So that's how we meet you all. It's how we meet the people there that come in and share their experiences with the phenomena, so helping us all understand it a little bit better there, and our place within the universe and how it all works there. It has been boiling all day, Adam. I am like a rotisserie chicken in here. You can tell I've got a fan on. Normally I don't, because it's annoying to hear the whirring of the fan, but I'm going to keel over. If not, speaking of which, I better close my window. There we go, so I don't annoy the neighbours too much. Oh, I literally just burnt myself on the metal of the monitor there. Oh, very hot and sizzly there. And HHS are there. When do you think we will meet them? Now, that is a very interesting question. So, us as a species or like general society? I've got a feeling, I'm leaning this way, I'm never 100% on everything, but I do think there has been contacts over the years. You look back to all the historical accounts, I think humanity has been in contact before, maybe actively now, but maybe the big wide for everybody, you know, the press conference on the White House lawn, I don't think we're quite there yet. I think they have to do it in stages, and it really feels like we are on that journey now, especially with the releases, what we were just doing in our members and Patreon's deep dive a moment ago. You know, the releases, and we've not yet had the Roswell bodies, but it doesn't feel like we're that far from it. It does feel like we're actually on that journey now. So hopefully not too long there. And Rio, how the devil are you there? They could definitely have talked before, but could be. But when could average Joe meet them? And it's my dream. You know what? I don't know. I mean, it depends what they really want, isn't it? There, you know, maybe they don't want to deal with us individually, or maybe they do. Maybe they do want some sort of integration. And I think we can look back, can't we, to how nations have met there, how different groups of people have met across the continents and things like that. You know, it starts off more of a political mission, trade and things like that, and then there is a general blurring, but it can take some time there, but maybe not. Maybe some of those things have been going on in the background and we just, you know, we're ready for that final step. I'm not really sure, but I think it's an interesting one to figure out there. And Kate as well, back in now. Ria, I'm sweating, it's 20 degrees. That is your Scottish summer right there. That's suntan lotion, everything. God knows how hot this room is tonight there. Mike is in as well over on the tubes. Eyes to the Sky is 100% there. And well, on my side it says it was, what's that? They played great on the 11. Oh, okay, I'll have a look at that one, Raf, and see what's going on with that one. And Danielle as well, can you say hi to my wife Becky, watching from Manchester? Well, hello there, Becky. Are you interested in all of this as well there? Or is Dan, like my missus, dragging you along for the journey? But it's good to have you in there. How is Manchester today? Did you get the heat wave? I imagine so. We're a small country in the UK, aren't we? So I'm sure it's hot everywhere. Ben is in, user 68 there, and Odron there as well. How are you doing there? Tomorrow, taking the bike out for a spin. Be safe. But yeah, nothing like a little bit of fresh air on you. Let me have a little problem solve there, Raf. Let me see what it says at this end. I don't know, where can I have a look? Does it just give me a bloody list of what's going on there? No. Why is it? The app is never straightforward, is it? Alright, okay. Maybe the app isn't going to do it there. I'll have to bring up the browser and tackle that one. Where are we? 24 degrees, though. That's nice temperature. That's good. That is, survivable. Drewski there. Hope you had a good day. It's been a busy weekend. It's been a busy weekend, but there's some good things and some problem solving, and ultimately we're going to get there. Hopefully we've got some upgrades for the stream coming if YouTube doesn't screw us out of some pennies. Rio, we're all good. We had a friend stay over with us, so I've been extra distracted for that. Confused them with all of this there, and where are we? It is very warm. It really is warm there. And they're going to dump it like a film series. I think so there. And all the decent stuff won't be until forever yet. It's going to be like the crap that was unclassified back then and now doesn't need to be. I agree. I'm hoping it's going to be a little bit faster because it feels like they were splurts and splots, like every now and again. You get one thing, then wait 10 years, then another thing. Whereas at the minute, like now, we've got that second release in a row as expected, and hopefully in a couple of weeks we'll get another one, and there's an incremental build up to that. Maybe that journey is going to be more consistent over time, but I don't think we should take it for granted. I think at any point there, political will could change, priorities could change, they could decide not to, pressure could come into them, and maybe they won't there. 32 to Monday. Oh no, that's too much, Raf. That is too much there. My aircon is on full blast. Liberty. Aircon is one thing that every heat wave, probably like everybody else, I go, oh my god, aircon, we need aircon, and then you go, it's all sold out and it's all too expensive. Right, next year in the winter, I'm going to do myself a favour and we'll get one. And then there's always a different priority, isn't there? And every summer I go, bollocks, should have done it there. Very hot, about 26 there where you are, Dan. Daniel as well. Is that Daniel? Yes. Where are we there? Susie is in. Good to see you. I need the hydration reminders tonight. I really do. I forget to drink and go, why do I feel sick? There, Barry as well, coming in with the follows. How are you doing tonight, Barry? Thank you for that. Where are you joining us from there? It's meant to get to 33. No, that's not. I don't function at that temperature. I've had it about 34, 36, or in that sort of range in this room last summer during the heat wave at the 2 in the morning. And we've got a lot more equipment in here now, a lot more electronics there. Got 2 units last winter. That is wise. And this thing, if you get one, me and the missus are going to be fighting over it. I want it in here. She's going to want it in the bedroom. A swamp cooler is a cheaper option. What's a swamp cooler? I've not heard of that one. I have to look into those there. Anything 15 and over is too hot for us. Yeah, to be honest, yeah, it really is. I like a clear sky. It doesn't have to be too warm. I'm not exactly going to be suntanning, am I there? I'll catch you later, Susie. And Rio as well. We complain when it's too hot. 100%. 100%. We need something to complain about. Right, let me quickly tweak the brightness. A bit more contrast there. And can we do more on that one? There we go. So it's getting darker. Still very, very blue, but we're starting to see more stars and some movement tonight. Look, there's some faint there, another one faint there, one down there. There we go. It's picking up tonight, guys. So keep your eyes on them. Look out for the anomalous movement there. We're looking for things that stop dead, shoot off at speed, change their course or trajectory, anything like that. Can tell us that it's not one of the many man-made satellites up there, and that is the real slam dunk evidence that we need there. There is a middle ground of interesting but not necessarily man-made, not necessarily UFO versus man-made. So that is flashing and coloration, things like that, but it's harder to prove that sort of thing with those. But just was doing the deep dive, was looking at some of the modern UFO released videos, and we're like, this could easily be some of the things that we're seeing there. So I think we decided as well, flashing is going to be on the interest board there. Marcus coming in with the gifts. Thank you, Marcus. Appreciate that. All goes back into stream there, same as members, gifts, and all that jazz as well. Bags there. How are you doing there? Have fun hitting the Trump files. I'm finding them interesting, not in the way that I really want, in the sense that I want to see the Roswell bodies. I want to see the crash site. That, I think, is going to come. Like, I feel like that's a little bit away yet, but they are getting incrementally better. And actually, the ones we went through in the deep dive earlier today was really interesting there. We went through video by video, and I thought, they're just going to be the same. But there was some different stuff in there, some of the movements and shapes and things. It was quite interesting. Colour footage as well there, so not just the infrared, which is, very, very interesting. So if you want to check those ones out, guys, link in bio for a month for free for the Patreon. You'll be able to watch that one back. Or you better join us for the next part where we probably finish off those files, or maybe in time for the next lot of them out there. So keep your eyes for the next deep dive that's going to be listed for that there. Complain about anything, and it's not me. Exactly, Kate. And Marcus there, good evening to you too. And it's your girl there. Why is the screen blue tonight? So that is a very good observation there. Basically, it's dark for us, but this lens lets in so much light that actually the sun hasn't fully gone round yet. So it's still getting a little bit of that sunlight in there. Now, in the next, I don't know, 10 minutes or so, that should start to get much noticeably darker. And then we're going to see more of those distant stars, more of that movement and things like that. But yeah, it's just still the sunlight is still actually up there, even though it looks pitch black to me with my eyes. Again, they're still not gone fully round there. And HHS there. And where do you think they live? This is a good question. I don't know specifically, but I fall back to the point that if there's one species and they're extraterrestrials, they're going to be a multiple. You know, if it's proven that we exist and somebody else does somewhere else, then there's going to be a load of them there. And in fact, some of the early signals that we're getting with our new telescopes, we're actually able to analyze the atmospheres ever so slightly of these distant planets around distant stars. It's looking like there's life. So life is probably going to be everywhere. So therefore, maybe complex and therefore, sentience and intelligence should be more and more common there. The movie Event Horizon looks really good there. It is a good. I remember that one very well. Event Horizon. It was a very, very good film. That one. And of course, really interesting, and it's a good question there, girl. How are you tonight, Dave? And Universe as well. It's going to be the best and clearest night of the year for Stargate. Is it really? Well, maybe we'll have to do a long one tonight there. When that goes, we have got the moon up, and that is doing our night vision in a little bit there, so it's probably not going to be as dark, but clarity-wise, it's going to be fantastic. So let's look out for those anomalies there. And Marcus, I'm knackered tonight, to be honest there. I went to Comic-Con with your little boy today, and oh my God, any of those events, man, they just take it out of me. I haven't got the energy to do it. I feel for that. And Mixer, sorry, there. But we have not seen one, the being. So, well, I haven't seen a being. No, some people do, in our community do claim that they've had an experience like that, which is quite interesting. But apparently, lots of people have reported seeing the beings. There are, and there's some commonalities between them. Now, that isn't necessarily conclusive, not to an evidentiary standard, but it does point to something interesting being going on there. And what's very interesting is that there are certain traits about them, certain details, which actually you wouldn't have known, especially at the time, but actually reinforce that there might be something to it there, and I think particularly like with the craft, for example, the fact that everyone goes, they're always blurry images. Well, actually, we've done the maths now, and we've figured out that, if they were to be using a real-life warp drive, what would happen is it would gravitationally lens around the craft there. It would bend that light around the craft because it's making a warp bubble, and that would create a blur. So maybe there's certain things like that can actually, we've thought, why is this a gap in our evidence there? But it actually could be enforcing it there. And how will aliens influence religions? This is a very good question. Anything, be it religion, science, or any other sort of specific beliefs there, if you hold it too tightly, you've not got much room to play. As guidances, they're not too bad. Some religions, literally, and this is what's really interesting. You look back in a lot of the religions and their early texts there, you take away the word and terminology aliens and demons and go, well, what did you see, or you're claiming to see there? Lights, people descending from the sky. And lots of this stuff matches up. So I don't think necessarily it is counter to a lot of those religious texts and things. And they have done a new Event Horizon. And they've done a new one. And it looks awesome. Now, that is a change, isn't it? When they normally spoil a remake. I didn't know they did a new one. Now, that is cool. My step count currently reads as I walked around the planet twice. Oh, my God. My step count is just so low on a day-to-day basis there. And what's that? I can't even read that one. Oh, Bossy, how are you doing? Thank you for the follow. Guys, if you are new here, do say hello. Let us know where you're watching from there. We'd love to hear if you've had any experiences or if you've got any questions. No silly questions here at all. Just ask away. If you're curious, somebody else in the chat will be as well, and be grateful that you have asked there. But we do this basically every night, and especially at the minute, we've got a long run of nice clear skies ahead of us. So we're going to be on probably around 10:30 now, UK time. So this sort of brightness going forward there. But yeah, we're going to be on on pretty much every night, so do make sure you're following or subscribed, whatever it is, wherever you are, and then that way you should get those notifications when we go live. But clear nights, it's the UFO UAP Skywatch coming to you live from Wiltshire in the UK, which is right in the heart of crop circle country and just down the road from Stonehenge. So keep your eyes peeled on these skies. Cloudy nights, we do an alien radio signal hunt. We're listening to what's called the hydrogen line, and that is the channel on the radio dial that scientists theorize that if ET is out there, that's where they put the message. And if the moon is up and I can be bothered, unlike tonight, we do a moon watch. We see all the craters, all the details there of the moon, and see sometimes those strange things that astronomers have seen going on off and around the moon the years and cannot explain there. And 3 red there. Are you just lazy like me? I am in weird ways. Like, the amount of effort I will go to for certain specific things, and I've not figured out why, but most of the time, lazy as fuck. Absolutely lazy as fuck. There. But sometimes I find it oddly satisfying. Like, I have to get out doing other work. Like, my job involved me commuting across the country until we moved for years, every other week. And, you know, I was like, it made me feel like I was more productive, so I didn't mind the 300-mile journey and the 6-hour trains each way, you know? So I'll do that, but I won't do the dishes. Our motto here is, if the moon is up and I can be bothered. I'm just being honest, guys. Look, we don't want to sensationalise anything. Right, I'm going to bounce back over to the tube chat. You've been patiently waiting. I said I'm across a few chats tonight, so I'm going to read them in turn, so it might take a second there. But do say hello and ask away your questions. I do want to hear them. Where are we? Down to here. Looks like the skies is clear there. We can sleep with Alan. That's not on my hobby list. Where are we? And Paul there, hello from the gateway to Agawa there. Lovely weather. It's lovely. It's right on that line of too hot. I've actually got a fan on tonight for the first time ever. Normally I just sweat. Liberty, I think I'm filming with Astro Bloke and Simmons, or Astro later this week there. Might do a short live whilst we are filming. And I could bring you in too. That would be fun. Hey, yeah, let me know. I'm all for checking messages, but 100%, you know, anything that sounds cool. I'd love a little bit of the night sky. I mean, even if I'm just watching, hopefully I'll get that notification if I'm not on that night, and I can actually have a watch of something else. And Mike as well, only found out about a swamp cooler this evening there. Basically a fan with a compartment in the base for ice water. Oh, okay. I think I've heard people talking about that, or I've seen like sometimes cheap fans online that you can put your ice in and stuff like. You know, I'm one of these people that if it doesn't plug into the wall, how good can it be? But a lot of the time, there are just sometimes very simple things that you can do that I tend to ignore and then miss and then swear about it. So I'll have to give it a go. Where are we? Scooby as well. Did you see the colour one in the crevasse there? And I swear I can see it outgassing in the shades as it slowly turns. So we were looking at those videos in the latest release in our last deep dive just earlier now, and I saw the ones disappearing into the crevasse, but for the life of me, there's about 3 or 4 videos we saw that they just disappeared into these crevasses, into the shade of cliffs, and I couldn't see them beyond that point, so I didn't actually see that bit. But that is, you clearly see it's an orb. I was literally just saying, because I was looking at the FLIR footage that we've all seen a lot of, and I'm going, remember, this is infrared. You're not going to see the detail necessarily of the object there. This is just representative of the heat and the colour there. And then the next video was in colour. And I hadn't seen the UFO footage in colour like that before. And you're going, it looks exactly the fucking same. You know, these are dots, sometimes black, sometimes white. It was really interesting. So I actually think there was some interesting stuff in this one there. And Bossman, I have just added my UFO site into the Discord. Excellent there, Bossman. Oh, no, Baseman, sorry, my eyes. Tonight there. So, yeah, do guys check that one out if you do want to. It's in link in bio for that, for the Discord there. A really cool personal experiences section where a baseman's just added his personal there, and you can add yours, and you can add images and videos too, and the whole community can see them even if they're not in the stream tonight there, so I'll check that one out later. Didn't find the alien human statue in a dig in the desert. I'm sure I read this there. Now that would be very, very interesting there. A clue in culture that there was something going on. It's kind of like the cave paintings that we see, you know, from that period there, and it's like, wait a minute, you know, they're painting this there's something going on. This is a question that I had there. And what's the most interesting thing you've ever seen in the skies? Oh, I don't really know, Mike. There are a lot of ones that I'm just like with it there. One of the, I think the favorite one from the stream has got to be the big bright orange object that we saw shooting across the sky, and it was closest I can think to is a shooting star. But it was also nothing like any shooting star that we had seen before. Excuse me. The other one would be when I was setting up the camera, and I did film it, but it's an awful video as they always are, and that was a big bright object just flying through the sky there, below the clouds there, well before it was dark. And the Galactic Family podcast did a live show on it recently. I've not heard of that one. I have to check out there. The statue that looks like a Ripley alien. Oh my god. That's not the sort of alien that we want to meet, guys. Oh my god, no, I do not want that one. We'll have to check that one out there. How you doing, Denise? It's lovely weather, is it? I like it, but I also don't, because I'm unfit as hell. I don't do heat. So I'm a rotisserie chicken now. Jay, who runs the podcast there, works for MUFON. Oh, now that is going to be good. They're right in there with the information. And my opinion, Carl, Marcus, Yvonne as well. Thank you for the gifts, guys. Appreciate all that. It all goes back into the stream there, same as members, super chats, and all that jazz too. So it all goes into improving the stream. Hopefully you should see some upgrades soon as well when all the deliveries arrive. Let's have a look to where did we get to. And Kate, I think the presence of ETs would entirely reform religions. I definitely think certain subsets of religions are, because lots of religions are incredibly specific, aren't they? The dogmatic ones, the ones that are really nailing to the letter or their interpretation of it. And there's no flexibility around that. There's no room for change and adjustment. And what we have to remember is that whether it's the human interpretation of the text or the human interpretation of what was said to be then written as text, there's a lot of room for error in that. And if you're following that to the point, you're not allowing for that, and some religions are, expressly, the word of God, and then there is no room for playing that if that's meant to be literal. So it's the ones, again, that are going to be rigid are the ones that will struggle, because we have to remember that whatever it is, there's always a gap, there's always an element for human misinterpretation. Even if you take religion and it is true, there's still that human interpretation issue that can still be an issue there. And hello from the UK there, boss. I thought that is good to see you in. I mean, we're having a nice bossy, we're not having a nice bit of weather at the minute, aren't we? And 3 red there. No, I did that one as well. The new Event Horizon is set 200 years later. Well, after the original. Oh, so it's a sequel. Oh, I'm keen for this. I am very keen for this there. And what time are you on to there, Lou? So we should be on till normally midnight UK time, and it is now 10:37 p.m. But if it's a good clear sky, if it's going well and I'm not too hot, we might push it to a little bit longer there. And what's the original Event Horizon there? I don't know if I've seen it yet. So it's a space horror. I'll do the gist without spoiling it. There's a spaceship called Event Horizon, goes off into space. I think it's its maiden voyage, disappears, nobody knows what happened to it. The ship then reappears in the solar system, and then a crew is sent to investigate it. And that's all I'll say. But it's a very good one. I remember that film because my parents very rarely ever took date nights, probably why they're divorced now, but when I was very, very young, that was one of their date nights, which was very, very rare, and I had to stay around on uncles. Again, very, very rare once they went to the cinema to see that one. And obviously they couldn't tell me much at the time, but that interested me even then. It's amazing what weird memories stay and the connections that get drawn, isn't it? And hey, up there, hope you aren't melting too much. I very much am there, hoping Alan is dealing with the heat. Alan is fine. He's got some sort of crazy new vape flavour there. How are you doing? Are you at the gig, A-Up? I hope you are partying for the best of us there, putting us all to shame there. The deep dive went very well, thanks to your hard work there. Don't buy one of those fans. Yeah, that's why I didn't. But I might try getting a tray of ice cubes out and doing it manually there. It did go very well up there, and thank you for that one. And just seen it there. It was very interesting. Just on the train back to the car. So I need to see this trailer there. No, how you doing, Yvonne? What's the no for? I can't remember. I'm so far behind in the chat already. And loving the stickers there. Oh, hello, how are you doing? And I think our religions speak about aliens. I think they do, because again, this is the thing, isn't it, that it's that human interpretive layer. Like, you go back throughout history for various different cultures, and they all are describing very similar things. They interpret them different, because that's how our brains work. We need to have a bit of software. Some people are running Linux, some cultures are running Windows, and therefore the same data comes in but gets expressed or understood slightly differently. We've got to try and put it in a box. If I see something in the sky and I've got no reference point for it there, I've got to find the closest possible thing. And back in the day, before we were even flying, let alone putting things into space there, what reference did they have for things up there other than, birds and things? So I can understand how the God and the angels' interpretation come from that. Likewise, you know, when in the 40s Roswell happened there, that kicking off the modern day UFO era, that was just as the point as we were starting to look to send man in metal spaceships up into the stars, potentially to other planets. And that's what we started seeing, little grey men from other planets in metal spaceships. You know, it's that interpretation. Now, has either of them been correct over the years? You know, was the religious perspective more correct? Is our modern day one more correct? Maybe the fae and the folklore? Is it a bit of both there? I'm not sure until we can get hands-on with it there, but it is interesting there. And I know that the Church of Scotland are open-minded about UFOs. Now, that's interesting, because I did hear recently that the Vatican, it was like a year or two ago, did say that you know, they updated their guidance to priests or whatever it was there, that, you know, life on other planets doesn't break the thing, all God's children, something like that, you know. So they were preparing for something. Are they just picking up on the cultural tone, or are they on the inside? I mean, still very powerful there. Oh, Kate, you got to, it's worth it there, especially if the sequel's coming out there. How you doing, Ian, as well there? And Paul, evening, happy bank holiday, very happy one. Although, it just means I've got twice the work on Tuesday. How is everyone doing? You've got plans for tomorrow, if you are in the UK? During the bank holiday there, Disclosure Day out on the 10th of June. Oh my god, I keep forgetting about that one. I have to get my ass to the cinema for it there. And Yvonne, thank you for the extra gifts there, it's very, very kind. So it all goes back into the stream there, same as members, Patreons, all gifts and super chats and all that jazz there, helping us improve what we do. And the new Event Horizon looks awesome. The trailer looks real good there. Check it out. I'm gonna have to, you know, I'll totally forget when I come off the stream, but I do want to, because I was a big fan of that there. And Paul, should we be scared of possible alien invasion one day? So I think yes, but we don't need to be imminently scared, or necessarily ever. Like, it is possible, if there is another community out there, or communities, that they are going to have different priorities, different interests that may be counter to our own. It's kind of a natural part of these things. Species invade other species' territories, even within the same species, monkeys will have literal wars, which really surprised us when we discovered that. So it's definitely possible. It really is possible. But if they are that much more advanced than us, then it wouldn't really matter, if that makes sense. In the kind of same way that we will invade each other if there's a close enough, you know, we want your stuff there and you're close enough to us, it results in war. But for example, like the uncontacted tribes on North Sentinel Island, they are so basic, so much of a threat, got nothing we're interested in. We just leave them to it. In fact, we protect them. So, you know, there is a sort of a middle ground of friction. But beyond that, probably not too much to worry about there. And if we haven't been yet, this is the thing. We're midway in the universe's development. There is likely to be other civilizations that have been around a lot longer, and they haven't invaded us yet. So there, but I wouldn't take it for granted. You know, I wouldn't necessarily think all extraterrestrials, if that's even all that's going on there. We've got the time component, we've got the dimension component there. But I wouldn't take it that all of whoever is necessarily going to be our benevolent space brothers there. But, you know, some of them may be. There's an argument to be made. And after today's weather, I'm pretty sure I know how it feels to live on the sun. It's very Venusian, our weather today, isn't it? Where did we get to on the tubes? Let me bounce back over to it there. We got to Scooby. Lovely. And Jay, who runs that podcast, works for Movement. I think that's going to be quite interesting there, you know. Going to be right on the pulse with all the sightings there. Just seen something flash in the sky by you. If it flashes again, man, that is the real interest. Keep your eye on that. Paul, good evening. How are you doing over there in the tubes? And Scooby there. I go on the Disclosure Tonight podcast and hang out in the background after you can join in the conversation. Oh, that's pretty cool. I like the sound. That's very communal. I like that. That is the thing that, you know, we miss a lot. I mean, we're doing it now in the live stream stuff, but, you know, it's all very much been separated away from the action, hasn't it, previously? But now we're finding ways with our technology to kind of get everybody involved there. And hit the like button. It's a free way to grow the channel. Thank you, Liberty. Liberty is very right there, and we do appreciate it, because that is how we meet all of you guys, and that is how we make our new friends. But then the people come in and then they share some sort of fantastic experience with the phenomena, helping us all understand it a little bit more there. So we really do value that one. And you're cool this evening. I'm jealous. I'm not. I'm very warm there. Hot but not bothered. No, I'm definitely bothered. I'm definitely bothered there. And Basement, I know you're having a chat there. Let me scroll through. No, we're up to date now on the tubes. Oh, that's a nice bright one coming in there. Let me just update the settings and the brightness, make sure we're not missing anything here. There we go, a little bit clearer there. We've got to keep chasing it as that sun goes round and it gets darker. We have to keep messing around with the settings. Right, I'm going to bounce back over to the TikTok. Let's see where we are in the chat. I'm across two chats tonight, but if you are joining us tonight, guys, We're doing a live UFO UAP Skywatch, and we're coming to you live from Wiltshire in the UK, which is right in the heart of Crop Circle country and just down the road from Stonehenge. So right in an ancient, mysterious landscape. The skies have a long history with the strange and wonderful, and tonight will be no exception. It's lovely and clear, and when that brightness goes there, when that blue turns to black, we're going to see even more stars and even more movement. So keep your eyes spotting there, call out the grids, and if you're lucky, the mods will bang the interactive grid so we can all be drawn to that spot. But what we're really looking for is the anomalous movement. That is what is going to tell us for sure that what we are seeing is in fact something a little bit stranger than one of the many man-made satellites up there. We need it to stop dead, shoot off at speed, change its course or trajectory, anything like that. ET realizing he's left his keys at home and doing an interstellar handbrake turn right over the camera will tell us for sure that it is more interesting. Now, flashing and coloration can be too, but they're not necessarily conclusive that it is ET. So therefore we've just got to pay attention. We've got to watch those objects as they fly across the sky there. But yeah, do say hello, especially if you're new. Let us know where you're watching from tonight, and when I bounce through the chats I will get to you all there. But yeah, if you've had a story, an encounter, maybe something in your professional life, your job, your skill set here, about these things, let us know there. We all want to hear it there. Where did we get to in the chat there? That was a good one, Paul, about the invasion. We got to that one, didn't we? Janie is in the house. Let's scroll through there. Marcus after days. Yeah, no, that was it. We got to that one. There. And Joanne, how the devil are you there? Paul, with the weather being like it is, what's your thoughts on global warming? So, you'll never guess, right? You can do a poll here where I stand politically. And I like to keep politics out of it because ultimately, and I think global warming, big issues like that do touch on it. But ultimately, this is a place for whoever to come together, regardless of that, so we can all focus on. We want as more minds and experiences than possible, regardless of all the other shit that's going on in life there. So nobody ever guesses where I am politically. But what I am is I am belligerent and I'm a contrarian there. So I'll always be saying the opposite of what you expect. So I don't know about all of the maths. I've heard some very interesting things either which way when it comes to the global warming stuff. And it all sounds very impressive. And ultimately, I go, well, one of you's either got it wrong or whatever, because I could believe both of what you're telling me here. But what I do know is people. And I know how we work as humans. I understand psychology quite reasonably well. And regardless of what is actually going on, to whatever degree, I know we're being sold bullshit. To whatever degree. I know when panic is in the air for things, and that is what motivates people. Now, whether there's good intentions behind that or not, or whether there is a truth behind that, and look, there probably is to some degree, but I don't know that. But I know when people are spinning me a yarn, standing in my head, pissing on my shoulders and telling me it's raining. So yeah, that's what I say. But I don't know. This is kind of like the UFO stuff here. It's that very quickly I get out of my realms in an academic sense. I don't have, the particular science background. I'm not particularly analytical, but I'm very good with patterns. So I can't tell you when something happened or how many times or who said it or whatever it is there. But I can understand a pattern and I can do things across reference. And yeah, there's again, it's down to other people for the specifics. But in this day and age, like, who do you trust with these things? On whichever side, with everything there going on, like, who do you trust with it all? At the end of the day, we're all human and we all have incredible biases there. Rich, I think we were invaded a way back, and they just hide in the shadows, pulling the strings. They could well be that sort of hands-off manipulation, could be something that's going on. I'll be curious of why. But this is the thing, because like the obvious one they talk about is it's resources. Is it resources they want? Do they want our gold, the Anunnaki there? Do they want trees? Maybe trees are the rarest damn thing in the universe there. As far as we know, trees only grow on this planet, whereas there's planets made of diamonds. But either which way, most other resources, unless it's us, are available easier. No gravity to get to, so I'm not quite sure what the thing is. Maybe they just want, maybe Earth is actually rare, maybe our biosphere is something special, at which point, maybe it is that sort of light touch control because we're part of the ecosystem. But yeah, I mean, what's the thing? I mean, quite possibly, maybe we're part of the species, maybe we're part of the invasion. The first great extinction event was the CO2 organisms got wiped out by the ones that produced oxygen there as well. There was a whole other branch of complex multicellular life that developed before our lineage, and that just died out randomly. I think after like 1 million years, just went nope, and we don't know why. And then our form kind of spread there, so maybe we were kind of invaded there. Maybe something like that going on. I do think our linear understanding of history, of human history, of natural history, of our solar system's development, it's going to be a case that, you know, we've got less than 1% of the knowledge and we're extrapolating a rough plan over that. It's going to be a wide overview that's not going to be particularly specific or effective in those senses. So we need to be open to things being a lot stranger than they are. So maybe, Rich, maybe there's something going on there. And is it Daoud? How are you doing there? Where are you joining us from tonight there? And are you recording? Yes, we are recording. Only on the vertical there on the TikTok. Did you see something there, Carl? Oh, no, you know what? I'm not recording. I'm not recording the bloody tracker thing, but I do have a video. I managed to get it the other night because you reminded me, Carl, and I do actually have a video to do the training on, which I did start the other night, and then I got sulky. So we actually have a tracker as well, guys. You're not seeing it working tonight, but in theory there are so many things, as you can see, moving across the screen that we really need a bit of assistance, because as the summer again rolls in, we're going to see more and more of those objects there, and it's going to be hard for us to follow them all, and we need to pay attention. We need to see them as they go across the screen, because it's only that last minute, could be hesitation, change of course or trajectory, that actually lets us know that something a little bit stranger is going on there. So the tracker is designed to help us there, but it's having a sulk. I'm building it myself. I'm not very good at those things. One day we'll get it there. But that was what the training video is for. And Oyo there, Amaconic's coming through there. I'm on a laptop and I don't know if they're getting through. So Oyo, I saw that one, but I don't think I've seen any others. And it's always those comments that are my comments coming through ones. They're the ones that always do come through. So probably the others were auto-filtered. Kate, can you double check if you've got the buttons there to check if it's not added words again? Sometimes TikTok is bloody stupid and it will put auto-filter words. And the ones that it chooses are like cake or hi, and you're like, what the f is the girl doing? So maybe try it again, Ahoy, and we'll see if we can do it there. And live goal achieved there. Thank you guys for that. Appreciate that, Janie and Marcus there. All goes back into the stream, helping us improve what we do there. And God, EMR there, Wi-Fi is shocking. I've given up on rail Wi-Fi. I just don't. It doesn't happen there. And Fora as well, thank you for the follow. Good to have you in. If you're new here, guys, do say hello. Let us know where you're all watching from tonight. And settle in and help us spot the strange and anomalous. We're doing a live UFO, a UAP, a Skywatch, and we're coming to you live from Wiltshire in the UK, which is right in the heart of Crop Circle country and just down the road from Stonehenge. But yeah, say hello. I'm in the TikTok chat at the minute. When I finish up here, I'll bounce back over to the YouTube there and see what you guys are getting on. And Kate, I think that the global warming is down to Earth cycles and not that it gives humans an excuse to trash it. That's a very good point there, Kate. And like with all of these things, you know, I don't think it doesn't mean we don't have responsibility for these things. Doesn't mean we shouldn't be acting better in general with the stuff, you know. I think that to me makes a lot of sense. And again, how much data do we have specifically? I mean, look, I'm open to it either which way there, but I think, you know, on both halves of it, I know when I'm being bullshit too, but also we do just need to be better in general. So I can totally see that one. And Paul as well, what's your views on alien information now coming out of America? So Paul, I love this, and it's very topical because we literally, just before we was on this stream, we did another deep dive. So for Patreons and members, as a little thank you, we'll do a different sort of stream. So always the Skywatchers are available for everybody always to access. So we do it before or after those, so nobody's missing out. But we do a deep dive where we get into either a document, a leaked document, a whistleblower's account there, or something related to the phenomenon. We run it through and we hear what your thoughts are as we're going through it, and we can really get into the meat of it because we're not just, you know, we're welcoming people in all of the time. So it's really cool, and we've been doing, as they've been released, the latest document stuff coming out of the US, and today was part 2, the second drop. And you know what? It wasn't the Roswell bodies, but I think I can see what they're doing. And I like it, and it makes a lot of sense there. You know, like we're hungry, guys. We've looked at this. We've gone out of our way to find as much information as possible that is available there. So we're ready. We have understanding and knowledge structures ready to kind of just tick off. Oh, was it that version or was it that version? Who was right? Who was wrong? You know, that sort of thing there. But the mainstream, they don't have that necessarily. Lots of people out there are not necessarily anti-UFOs or aliens. They just don't care. They've not. You know, they may have seen a TV show once or something, and they're like, I've not thought about it since. They're just going to work, paying the bills, you know, feeding the kids and all that sort of jazz. And for those people, they need to be warmed up. They need to be eased into it. They first need to know that, A, life is possible out there, then that the governments are interested, and then that they're interested in specific things, and maybe there's this particular anomaly and that particular anomaly, then maybe it's a bit of wreckage. You know, then maybe the bodies or something, you know, but we're also probably tying it in with discoveries of life out there on the distant stars, the very ones we're looking at right now. Beautiful colours coming through tonight, though, as well, isn't there? But, excuse me, sorry, I don't normally cough down the mic. So I think they're doing a stage release. It's very trickle. They've got to start for the lowest point to bring people up. And you know what? This second batch, was an incrementally better one. In fact, I was quite impressed by some of the videos, actually. It did seem to be that next level. So if they do keep on as planned, step by step by step, we are going to get to the good stuff. Now, we can't take it for granted. Oh, look at that flare. That was a big one. If that does it again, very interesting. If not, that is possibly just a satellite doing that. But that is still pretty cool to see. So yeah, as long as they keep it up, guys, I think that we are we're on the right path there. And don't you think it's weird that there are no seasons anymore? So I still see the seasons down here and stuff like that. Like I still see the differences and stuff, but it's also observation bias as well. Like this is the thing. We have to check it's when we go, do you remember this or not remember that? It's like, are we checking the right amount of data? Do we have enough memories to draw from? Because I've seen a lot, and not just on the global warming stuff, but in general, like where science gets a lot of things, and it does get a lot of things wrong, is that the scientific method can confirm particular outcomes and particular cause and effects, but then it's all about how you interpret that data and things like that. And that's when things can go awry. Like, do you think that means what you think it means? And, you know, are you, like we're always hearing about it's been the hottest May since ever. Oh, it's been the hottest June since ever, and it's been the wettest May as well at the same time. And it's because when they're doing that, it's not when they're not just checking one source. What they do is they'll pick a different set of weather stations and average it in a different way, so they can always, you know, it's not a lie necessarily. It's how you're constructing certain things. And the problem is they do that to push a narrative, and that narrative might be true. Maybe they're doing it for very, very good reasons. We all do need to prioritise it. But as soon as you start playing silly games, then you lose trust. And that's where I've gone with it now. Like, ultimately, it might be true. It might be incredibly pressing now, but I don't trust people that start fucking around, basically. But that's just my nature. I'm belligerent. But we see it a lot with the UFO stuff as well. You know, that we see people smudging the data. How many times do we hear, where's the evidence? But there's a fuck ton of evidence. But that can still play around. They go, oh yeah, and they'll change the definition of evidence there. And you go, oh, so what you mean is you mean slam dunk 100%. Okay, well, we've not really necessarily got any of that. But also, are we looking? Are we putting in the same amount of money into this as we are into any science? No, we're not. There's no public funding for SETI and stuff. So it's all about making sure that the data is formulated correctly before the questions are answered with it. There are definitely some changes, but a lot of it as well I've noticed is, I tell you what, moving here to the country, I've said this 1,000 times, I came from Essex, it's quite urbanised, and I moved to the country, and I feel like I've gone back to my childhood in the 90s. Like, not just from a technological point of view, but like everything here, the smells, the amount of insects, and okay, we are in the country. So I'm thinking how much of my perception of how things were different was not directly, was the adjacent things, the slower pace, you know, because we're not all the technology that we have now, and the less people on the roads, the less honking, and how much did that feed into my general feeling of it being a bit different? That's a nice one going up the screen there. So yeah, we're interesting beasts, humans. How are we doing, Captain Blue Nose? Enjoying your weekend? But also, with all of this, guys, I can be very wrong. I'm just a guy sitting in a green room. I've got no particular expertise. I've not necessarily navigated life any better than anybody else. Arguably worse on some occasions. So take everything I say with a pinch of salt. And we're always open to learn on these things. But this is the thing. We're only as good as the data we have in and our knowledge structures for processing it there. And are we on infrared tonight? No, we're not actually. We are on, it's a little bit different, isn't it? But that's still because it's quite bright and blue. We haven't done the infrared for a while. On it, thank you there, Kate, as well. Adam as well, coming in with the shares. Peter from South Wales, do love a bit of South Wales. Long history. Wales has got very active skies. Have you seen anything there? And Sean watching from Brighton. I do love a bit of Brighton. Lots of good memories from Brighton. Haven't been there in a while, actually. The missus went to uni there, so spent a lot of time there. I bet you're enjoying the beach in this weather there. Don't see any flat. Oh, maybe it's just TikTok being spazzy then. But thank you, Kate, for checking that one out there. Might be the Tok Auto. Yeah. Put it down there. Oh, flash in free, be free there, Rio. Guys, if we see a flash in the same square again, that can be very, very anomalous there. No, I only just just got a laptop in the new to the PC thing there, getting it slowly. Honestly, I'm at that age now where new technology, I get thrown a loop for it. So I totally get that one. But if you're on a laptop, check out the tubes version. This goes for anybody on the vertical version. To cram it all in, it's not as good an experience there. horizontal. First of all, the sky's up the right way, less me, more sky, but all sorts of extra data is also on the screen displayed, so definitely worth checking it out over there. The chat is pretty cool over there as well, which I've not got to yet, guys. I'm almost going to come back to you. I'm just catching up here. Should be done with the tubes in a second, the TikTok in a second. Yeah, but the plants don't die right off like they are used to there, and they're budding in the winter. And see, this is the thing that I wouldn't notice. So I don't know. Like, I've not noticed anything like that myself, but I haven't looked, and I don't really pay attention to plants. So that might be very, very true. Or it might be a measurement thing there as well. There's lots of things that could go off there, but honestly, I have no idea. I didn't pay attention to that when I was younger. I don't now, so I wouldn't notice it. So this is when we come to very quickly, guys, isn't it? That people need... You have to rely on somebody at some point. We can't know everything about everything, so we have to put our faith in something, whether it is an authority or specific authorities there. But we've got to, you know, just go. They're flawed beings there. But it's an interesting one. I hadn't actually heard that one, but that could be very interesting, Yvonne. I've heard as well, though, and again on the flip of it as well, about because there's more CO2 in the air as well. That is essentially plant food, so the world is actually greener now in those senses. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's a good thing in every other way. But yeah, I think it's just very, very complicated, isn't it? There, and a red thing went through and across the grid. Oh, I'm totally bloody missed that one. But I'll try and keep an eye out for the good stuff there. But keep up the good spot in there. Sean, yes, it's going to get hot tomorrow there. So the beach with the kids, that would be the end to me. That much sunlight there. But have a good time there, Sean. Work on that tan. And where are we? The NRS C4, good spot in there. Digital art as well. I said if it's good, the mods will hit the interactive grid there and it'll draw our attention to it there. So we're looking out particularly, guys, for that anomalous movement, that strange behaviour, for things stopping dead, shooting off at speed, changing their course or trajectory. Anything like that could tell us, would tell us 100% that is not a man-made satellite out there. Those things are just satellites. They can't do that. Middle of the road, it can be coloration, flashing, stuff like that. So anything like that is interesting to us, and we can zoom in on the good stuff there. And a vouch for the tubes there is worth a look. It's definitely worth a look there, guys. And, well, it means the planet is warming up, doesn't it? So not necessarily, because it means where you're taking those measurements from. You know, and the planet is never one temperature, so you've got to work all these things out and stuff like that. And the planet is just changing over time. It's above my pay grade, and I think where I'm at personally is that I will take reasonable steps in the decisions I make to make adjustments to it there. But this is the thing, like, if what our interpretation of that event isn't right, there is a price to be paying for that. I mean, we're literally in the UK paying what, like nearly 3 times the amount of energy as everybody else. And look, if the world's ending, that's a good thing. But if it isn't, and if it's only 80%, if it's only 60%, then we are paying a price. You know, and we just have to be honest about what that price is. And how are you doing? Is this good to see you in that? And thank you for the gift. All going back in there. And gone, good to see you as well. Right, bouncing back over to the tubes. Let's see where we got to you guys. Patiently waiting there. Oh, God, where is it? Fucking scrolling ahead. Sorry, guys, it just jumps ahead on me. No, you're having a chat. Sorry, TikTokers there. I have no idea why TikTok threw a sulk then. The network is fine. It's just TikTok being crap. Another reason to check out the tubes. Much more consistent there. Oh, yep, I've seen it a lot there. I've noticed that they are much different from the universal iridium flares. So the iridium flares are interesting. These are the ideas that basically satellites can just flash every now and again. You can see it with your own eyes. You just see a thing. So is it back now? Is it back? So this is the thing. I wouldn't say it is. I'm not ready to get there to that it is this bad. Like that's I don't trust that assessment. So I'm open to it being, but I'm not like I know what panic selling is like, and that for me, it sounds more like, you know, people are trying to sell me up a river. And not that it isn't, but that's where I lean at the minute there. And where are we? Eric as well. Good to see you. Where are we? So the iridium flares, these are these things, the iridium satellites, where these were early satellites. They were sort of pyramidal and they were flying around. They had a sort of a reflective, the solar panels on each side. So they were rare ones that didn't mind just tumbling. Most satellites now, they designed to face one way. They're designed to point down to the ground. If they're a spy satellite, that lens, that camera is pointing down to the ground, getting that imagery. If they're rotating, and therefore flashing, then they're not doing their job. But the Iridium satellites were different. They were highly reflective, and they were designed to do that. Very early ground communication satellites there. And so they would give these big flashes of light that you can see, and you can still see that sort of thing now. So we tend to call these flashes like Iridium flares. But, you know, if you think of it, a satellite is flying around up there, what can happen is, watch how this catches the light. There we go, relative to my light in here, and then it goes off again, right? So when a satellite relative to us is orbit, and it just flashes like that as it goes by. They're the ones that we see come in and come out like that there. So that is something that can be happening, but it doesn't mean that it 100% is a satellite. This is part of the frustrating thing with all of this, is that objects are known to now it's been studied, the objects are known to have been up there before man-made satellites that still behaved like that. And what the hell were those? Because our only explanation is the man-made satellites. So what was doing it before them? Very, very interesting there. And Syntax, how you doing? Under the Skin is a good alien film. A bit worrying, though, if you're not on top of the food chain. Well, this, I think, could be the biggest shock to us there. We are used to basically being at the top of the food chain. I mean, some of you guys do have to deal with bears. I don't. And predators like that. But most of the time, we are basically the top of the food chain everywhere else. We just don't have to consider it. And that is a very different mental view of the world. The universe, if that is not always true. And maybe that is the reason why we don't get this disclosure. Maybe that it is that is the answer, is that there are aliens, lads. They're coming and might take a few people for whatever scientific reason or whatever, what they could be. And nobody can do anything about it. Maybe that's why the government doesn't want to tell us, because that's not a good look for a government there. You know, just that we're not the top of the food chain, that can be quite a big psychological thing to get your head around there. Oh, and Baseman, I've also seen green flashes off power cables at night there. Meteor surveys are cool. Now, that is pretty cool. I've not seen that. But, I mean, look, nature is pretty wonderful as well. They're pretty amazing there. Syntax, well, shooting stars can be all sorts of colours. They very much can, depending on what they're made up of. When they hit our atmosphere, that friction causes heat, causes them to burn and break up, sometimes explode. But, yeah, depending on what they're made of, they can burn at different colours as well. Oh, you're getting a good ratio there, Raf. All of the likes there, guys. It is those likes and shares that does help us reach more and more like-minded people like yourselves. And the more eyes and minds on the phenomena, the more we can all piece this puzzle together there. And Scooby, Sam, you should come join us. And it usually starts after your show. Okay. And he's been doing a show every day, but Sunday during the week. Oh, I don't know, there's no messaging, is there, on the tubes? Because that's the thing, I totally forget when I come off stream. But if you'd send us a message somewhere, maybe in the Discord, say, I'll be able to catch it at some point. That's pretty cool. It's an early show for us Brits on Saturdays. Yeah, I don't mind staying up a little bit later sometimes. It's always good to meet other people that are interested in this thing. And Liberty, there, I don't believe in the global warming there. The sun has a cycle, and so does our galaxy. We see it in the history of both. So this is the thing. So that is, to me, is very, very interesting there. But it's a high risk. If we are, and we know that there are the cycles, but if what we're doing isn't that, you know, it seems like it's a high risk that we're taking. So I'm open to it. Oh, good spotting and use of the interactive grid there. I can't see anything on that one myself. Oh, I think it's just moved now, but keep it up. But yeah, this is, so I can kind of see the side of it of like, maybe we should be cautious, you know, because this is the law of unintended consequences is the biggest threat to us at the minute. Like, we shouldn't be screwing with things that we don't understand. And it's got to a point now that, okay, you can definitely make that case that we're doing that with industry, and that is what's possibly causing some of these problems. But they're also looking to do that now to compensate for it, which, okay, that is just crazy dangerous. You know, we don't fuck with the weather. That's a complex system that we can't predict more than a few days out with any accuracy. In fact, even on the day, it's such a complex system, we can't model it well. So you don't want to start screwing with that sort of stuff with it. It's changing, and we need to adapt. See, syntax, that is a good angle. Whatever it is, we need to adapt. This is the thing. And CERN, Paul there, CERN, are more like a concern there. Thoughts on it. So, CERN, you know, I say, most people think of CERN, that's a wider laboratory, but CERN is the normally associated with the Large Hadron Collider, like an atom smasher. And it's a cool bit of kit. But this is another one for the law of unintended consequences, isn't it? There is a legitimate scientific use for it there. We know why it was mostly built, you know, and all that sort of stuff there. And that argument makes a lot of sense. But are we competent enough to know that we aren't screwing with things? You know, there isn't the adjacent stuff we haven't even thought of that could happen and that is where I think there is the room. There is the possibility of of shenanigans afoot there, because it could be quite interesting. I haven't heard enough. I've heard lots of generalized stuff, but not enough specific stuff for me to go, ooh, I think there may be something really hard to it. But, I mean, I just find it fascinating. The idea that what they're doing is they're speeding up those particles. That's a nice one, flaring up there. But they're speeding up those particles. So, because, well, some of these particles are really short-lived, like fractions of a second, certain types of particles. Absolute fractions of a second, and that is no good to study them. If they're rare and they're only there for a fraction of a second, we can't learn about them. So what they do is they speed those particles up, going so ever so fast that relativity comes into play. So that particle traveling near the speed of light it's experiencing time and its fraction of a second of life as normal. But for us on the ground, not traveling at the speed of light, we see that particle exist for much, much longer because of relativity. And I thought, oh, that's brilliant, amazing there as well. Exist with Mother Nature and treat her kind. Actually, I think this is the thing. We've got an unhealthy relationship. Actually, you know what, Matt? That's a very good point there. That because we have traded one unhealthy relationship with nature with another, and I think that's my main point with all of this, is that, and I've said this before, but I made a point of going back and reading all the classics that you can imagine. Frankenstein, 50,000 Leagues Under the Sea, Wuthering Heights, all that sort of stuff. I went through and read those books, and what jumped out to me from them was the attitude of man's dominance over nature. You know, like, we can tame the beast and the seas, and look at our industry and our might, and you can totally see how we screwed around with things. We offed far too many species, we polluted seas, or whatever it was there. That wasn't healthy. But the attitude that we have now, which is absolute panic and we can't do anything and we're going to cut off our own legs to stop this thing, you know, it's the same attitude, it's just reversed. We are still seeing ourselves as this big amazing thing that can do stuff to nature. Ultimately, we can do sod all, really, to nature. It doesn't mean that we're not responsible. It doesn't mean that we shouldn't act differently and improve the stuff. But it's just the flip. It's still the same ego, you know. And that's what I think is. I don't think it's that attitude and the way that we're handling it is going to get the results that anybody wants there. Like that's I think my peak with it. I'm totally open to it being either which way, but I don't like the way it's being handled. And you know, I think we need like a healthier balance to realize that we are part of nature and like go, well, this is what we do and this is having these effects, and this is what we do, and this isn't having this effect, you know. So we can work a bit directly, because ultimately we are part of nature. We are the universe experiencing itself there. And loving the hashtags there. And Liberty60 in the chat, welcome all. And if you like to help the channel, give us a thumbs up. We do appreciate that, guys. So that is how we reach all of you guys. You never know who is going to pop in, what experience with the phenomena they're going to share, and correct me on the many times that I am wrong. But that is how we all learn. So we do appreciate that. It's how we meet you all there. But if you are new here, do say hello. I'll get you in the chat. I'm working through the YouTubes at the minute, then I'll bounce back over to the TikToks and we'll see where we get on there. But yeah, say hello, let us know where you're watching from, share those experiences. That would be phenomenal to hear them as well. There, got any questions about what we're doing, why we're doing it, how we're doing it, or maybe some suggestions? We'd love to. Oh, that's a bit too bright there. I would love to hear those as well. But in the meantime, help us spot, dump the grid references in the chat, and if it is an anomalous or it's of interest there, the mods will highlight the grid for you there. We want a UFO, we really do there. We need to be more aware. I think so, Mayor. And Scooby, so the first drop was kindergarten, welcome to the world of UAPs. The second drop was first grade, and let's see what we can tell the difference the third drop. Scooby, I think you're nailing it there. That is it, and that's exactly why we have those things. Oh, spot on with the grid there. That's a nice moving one. But that is exactly why they're doing it there. In the same way that you don't go take your school and go, right, I don't want you learning your ABCs. I need you doing physics, mate. You're going to be doing that, theoretical physics. Go on. You need to build them up. You need to put those knowledge structures in place that then they can learn upon. You know, they need to learn what numbers are before they can do maths. And it's the same thing with this sort of stuff. You know, if you go, aliens are here from Zeta Reticuli and they want X, Y, and Z, somebody's going to go, hold the fucking phone. Aliens? What, you know, what's going on? The only reference point they have is in fiction from it there. Sorry about the coughs there. I do normally press the button. Put it this way, when we were in our 90s, the drop will be pictures of Bob working at Area 51 holding him at 115, if we last that long, Raf. So I don't know. I think we've only got 2 points, haven't we? 2 of the drops at the minute. So we can see the incremental improvement between 1 and 2, but you really need a minimum of 3, but ideally a few more than that to kind of get that full chart of how much we're seeing each time, and then you can kind of extrapolate the line, which is exactly how the tracker works. You know, you need a few reference points to see if that thing has traveled in a straight line, to see what that straight line in front is going to be, and that's what we need to do. We need to see that arc. Now, it was very interesting when we was looking at the website that they've separated the first drop and the second one by tabs at the top of the screen. It says drop 1 and drop 2, and you click on that and you can search for either. But the space allowed for the tabs, and I wonder if they thought this far ahead, room for about 10 to 12 tabs every 2 weeks. 10 to 12 there, 24 weeks, 24 weeks there. Maybe we can extrapolate something from that. Now, is the crescendo, is the last one there actually going to be the Roswell bodies and things that we want, or are they going to try and shortchange us? So we never know there. And I already saw the picture of Bob. Where are it? And, well, I don't think aliens mean us harm. May well, man. Maybe it's very true. There is a good argument that you can make that, look, if you are a civilization that has the technology and the energy to travel these vast distances, look, energy, go boom, or light your house. You know, they're the same thing. Nuclear energy, nuclear weapons, it's the same technology. You know, there's good and bad to both of those. So if you're going to have a warp drive capabilities, the energy to be able to bend space and time around your craft, which would get you from A to B, you've got to be a pretty tight society to know that Bob isn't slightly unhappy and is going to use that against you there. You have to be homogenized. You have to be all on the same page, which again does look like a lot of the alien sightings we get. So maybe there's the product of having and being able to maintain that technology means that you are not into that sort of shit. You know, maybe you are a bit higher than that. But I don't know if it is definitely 100% there. I don't know if it's a given. And I think if there's going to be one species out there on another planet there with abilities to reach us, there might be two, but there's probably going to be more than two. You know, there's going to be multiple. And again, they could have a different roll of the dice. Maybe they're a little bit more aggressive. Maybe they're a bit more desperate. I think it's an interesting one, but it's definitely to consider. I don't think we can just say either way, for sure. And I saw the original Skinny Bob with the actual audio, and it was freaking. Nevertheless, what was the audio? I've not heard that one. I know that the recent one, Skinny Bob's an interesting one, isn't it? But no, I've not heard the audio for that one, Scooby. What sort of thing is on it? And I had never seen anything from Northern Sweden there. I'm sure hope to see something though. Welcome in there, Slimies. Slimmies there. So Sweden you've got history up that way, all sorts of anomaly things there. I think the more you look at the sky, the more opportunities you get. But you'll join us and we see some strange things in the sky. So do hang out and I'm sure you'll see something here. Doesn't beat it having that witness firsthand with your eyes there, but it'll be pretty good there nonetheless. So welcome in there, Liberty. I watched a really cool video on crop circles today around Stonehenge. It's very active, and it's why we say, you know, down the road from Stonehenge in the heart of crop circle country, because there are so many around here. We've kicked off the season now with a few in it, and whatever is going on there's something strange, you know. And look, I'm sure there's a human component to a lot of it, maybe most of it these days. We know what we're like when we get a hobby, but there are some there that I'm going, nah, man, there's something going on. Oh, what is it now, TikTok? What is it now? Sorry, TikTokers there. TikTok is struggling tonight, so definitely check us out on the tubes. We're at the thing UFO over there. It's definitely worth it. A, less interruptions, but B, you get to see the horizontal view of the screen. It is much, much better in those senses there. Oh, no, hold on. Let me just check to see if there is anything on this end that is struggling for TikTok. No, it's just TikTok itself hogging the memory, so it's shooting itself in the foot. Have you seen the meme of the person on the bike? And they put the stick in between their wheels, they fall off and they blame somebody else? That's TikTok. Right, anyway, I'm not on your chat yet. I am still over on the tube, so let's plough through, see where we get to there. But yeah, lots of stuff going on in the UFO and the crop circle that I think is quite interesting. There was a UFO sighting in Sandy near me a way back. Have a listen to the Weird in the Wade podcast. I think I have heard that one before. The name does ring a bell, because I do like my folklore and I like my spooky stuff as well. And I feel like I've heard that one. I've definitely come across it. Don't know if I'll have to see if I can find that one for the UFOs. Seen something on that as well. Well, no, it's jumping ahead. Fuck's sake. When I scroll one notch, it doesn't mean I want to go to the bottom of the page. It just means I want to go to the next bloody row. And where are we in there? You've come across your TikTok refugee there. Better, bigger picture. If you can't see that. It's good to see you there. Oi. Hi, man. Sickbay is not... Oh, no. Harko, how are you? Oh, that is very sad news. We're definitely thinking it's a very hard time for you and your family there. Oh, that is so sad. Rando, how are you doing? As well there, and let me scroll. Where did we get to there? And Graham there, hi from Patchway at Bristol, light pollution capital. I'm not far from you in Bristol there. That's where I work. They're very light polluted, but still some strange things in the history of Bristol there. Oh, where are we there? Oh, by Harco there, understand that one. The Liberty there, weather is seeding isn't a good idea. That is my main point, I think, with that one, when we was mentioning that there. Is HARP still a thing there for weather modification? So it's one of the theorised, but they haven't really been, it's not come out and said they've definitely done. But you know that they've screwed around with it. You just know. They can't stop themselves. You know? Some interesting movement on screens. Keep your eyes on those guys. So, guys, if you are just joining us, we're doing a live UFO UAP Skywatch tonight. And we're coming to you live from Wiltshire in the UK, right in the heart of crop circle country, and just down the road from Stonehenge. Lots of weird and wonderful things in these skies do help us spot the anomalous. I'm seeing a sort of green one there. Let's see if I can zoom in on that one.
Zoom mode activated.
Just giving us a green bit of coloration there. Look at this. It's hard to know. It's kind of lost it a bit now. But green, again, is one of those ones that could be warp drive signature there. So as I zoom out, keep your eyes on it. But yeah, do help us spot. Drop the grid references in the chat. And that's hopefully then, if it's interesting enough there, the mods will highlight the square. But do say hello. It'll take me a while to get through the messages tonight. I'm still working on the YouTube, and I'll bounce back over to the TikTok in the minutes there. But yeah, do say hello there, and make sure you're following or subscribed, whatever it is, wherever you are, because we do this basically every night. We've got a long run of clear skies ahead of us this week. But yeah, clear skies, it's the UFO UAP Skywatch. Cloudy nights, we do an alien radio signal hunt there, listening out on the hydrogen line, the channel on the radio dial where scientists theorise that if ET is out there, this is where they'd put the message, hello, is anybody else out there? It's where the wow signal's heard, and if the moon's up and I can be bothered, we watch the moon for anomalies too. So we're always looking for something there. But where are we? I think HARP as well is going to be quite responsible for some of the UFO sightings as well. I think they can essentially project plasma. They can bounce a high intensity radio wave off of the ionosphere back down to Earth, ionize the particles in a defined space, basically creating a plasma object that people can see and that can move fast. You know, probably done as radar decoys to confuse the enemy and things like that. But that would make sense for a lot of the things that we are seeing there. And HARP, stay sharp. To the bottom of the class. Who was that for? I don't. What was it for? Let's have a look. And since I don't think there'll be a disclosure, I think they know more, but they are just as in the dark as we are. So that's an interesting angle, and could be quite right there. I think disclosure has said it's kind of like international waters. We say 12 miles out, but look, as the coastline does this and that, 12 miles is technically moving, but we draw an arbitrary line. I think disclosure is kind of like that, in the sense that disclosure is the point when 51% of the people just assume that UFOs and aliens are real. And that is, you know, then we're all going to disagree about the specifics. We all disagree about bloody everything anyway, you know, so we're not going to, you know, we'll still have our Zeta Reticuli versus this, good versus bad. We're still going to have all that jazz. But disclosure is sort of that official recognition of authority, but the general populace as well, to that just passing over that line. But for the full picture, yeah, we wouldn't be surprised if they don't know, and that has been the reason why we haven't got any more from that. The sky is getting pretty dark now. It's literally only just, isn't it, now getting fully dark for us here. Not long before we don't get a dark sky. So this is the other thing. As it gets later, you know, on into the summer, we're going to be on later and later. I think from tomorrow onwards, we're going to have to be doing 10:30 as a start for it. So we're going to be staying up late, guys, but we need to get those sky watches in there. But it means the skies are normally alive. Like last summer was fantastic for sightings there. Like something about the summer. The aliens like a bit of sun, so they like the good weather. They come here on their holidays. So yeah, it's going to get alive. It's going to get so very, very busy there. And I know that the Secret Vault channel did some old crop circles down there. Oh, did they? Oh, we got a flasher. Is it going to flash again? On the screen. Are we as humanity ready for disclosure? That's a very good point, Matt. I would see. I'm a big fan of, well, whatever reality is, we need to accept it, you know, like we just need to prepare for it. Are you off to sleep? All right, night, darling. We just need to get our heads in. And there can be a lot of friction. There can be a lot of disruption. There can be a lot of, you know, unhappy people about that. But whatever reality is, the sooner we know, the better, because we have to adjust that. We have to account for it, we have to prioritize and put resources towards those things. There, I just ordered a full spectrum video camera there to sit next to my dwarf when using UFO mode. Now that is a very, very cool. Their hands are very cool. So at some point we do want to do the modification on this camera to be full spectrum. Funny you mentioned about the dwarf. We're trying to work on getting one of those actually, you know, for the UFO mode as well. And if we can, we'll have them both side by side. So we'll have this for the main part, but then if the UFO mode picks up on an object, we can switch to that one. Likewise, if we want to do a mega zoom on a star, we could probably do that one. And good spotting there, Emily there, and it's a good chat there. And Grimmage as well there, evening, or catching up from the start of a busy day, but I wanted to say hello there, looking forward to watching the UFO deep dive tomorrow there. Grimmage there, very much welcome in. So the recording should be up now. We didn't get all the way through, so keep an eye there. There'll probably be a part 2 to that one, let alone when the next one's dropped. So if you do want to check out the deep dives, guys, members and Patreons get those as well, and it all goes back into supporting the stream and improving everything here. But there is a free trial for Patreon if you use the link in the bio there. So you better watch all the old ones back, but also catch a couple over that month there. Probably, we normally do 2 a month, but at the minute with these ones, we're doubling it. At the minute, we're doing at least 4. And was that crazy as well? Finding out what they hide is more disgusting than the truth. That is not a bad point on this. And you know what? I think I overlook that part of it there. I'm so keen and so eager to just get the answers. That's what my brain wants there. Sod the other stuff. Get me to the meat of it. But, I mean, I suppose it's come up as well where there's the whole side that is arguing for amnesty, and should they get it there? Should they be let off of the potential crimes that they may have committed in hiding this? It is a whole other part of it there. And they hide giants from the truth. Or kill them if the Kandahar story is true. And so far, I know it is. That's, again, it's another interesting story there. But what we have is as our status quo, the mainstream narrative. We have an unhealthy relationship with it. We think that what the mainstream narrative is fact and is 100% true, and occasionally it gets updated. We need to actually, as people, be like, no, the mainstream narrative is literally that. It's a narrative, it's a story. It's the default placeholder for what has happened or what is happening or how things work. And then when we experience something differently, then we can put in a more specific one, a tool that fits better. But yeah, no, people hold to these things religiously, and they then also do things to cover it up. There. Evening again, Baron as well there, and keep up the good spot in Emilio, and Emilio, and also knowing what we are capable of with war and bombs and nukes, etc. It's much needed for disclosure. For me personally, I'm not too fussed about how aggressive we are. That is quite a big narrative, and you know there is we are capable of doing horrendous bloody things. But I think it's not that we're particularly more evil or bad than anybody else. We're just more capable. We're more effective. There, you know, we have hands to manipulate objects. We have brains to figure out ways of killing more people with one button press, and so I don't think it makes them more. We're just more capable. But we are humanity as well. We do a lot of good. You know, like monkeys will have literal wars, and they will literally tear each other to pieces. They are quite savage there. And we now know ants do that as well. They just don't have bombs. You know, they don't have the skills to be as effective as we are. But they're still quite savage. But what they don't do is have animal sanctuaries. What they don't do is have GoFundMes for the poor family that's child's very ill. And obviously they don't have the internet for the GoFundMe there, but humanity also has another side, and it's important that we balance it out. We can't ignore, our responsibility towards the negatives, but we also have to have a healthy balance towards ourselves, or we will misdirect ourselves. You know, we will come up with a solution for a problem, and if that problem wasn't accurate, that solution won't be accurate for it as well there. And how are we doing, Blues? Good to see you then. I see crazy FL aliens are here to educate us and not harm us. They may well be. That might be part of it with it as well. But I also just think that aliens are not going to be just one thing. Like, they might be, especially the angle actually. So extraterrestrials, the typical ones there, if there's one extraterrestrial species, there's going to be 1,000. It's just a numbers game. But if they are extra dimensional there, or if they are extratemporal, so a different time, potentially, you look at the Greys, they could be us from the future. Good, strong argument to make for that. Now, that would fit with something like that. That would actually explain why they've had this semi-hands-off behaviour for us. There, maybe that would be in their interest then, you know, that we can say, well, look, there is just this one. It fits a bit quite better, so maybe it's that angle with it there. I mean, it definitely does make an interesting argument of why they have interacted in the ways that they have, and have not. And I'm very against the biometric stuff there, that it's coming to a neurotransplants there, and our biometric are nothing of tech is safe from hackers. So they are, I think, very, very legitimate concerns there. And this is the thing, that there are bad things for all of this stuff, but there are also good things for this. And you know what we'll do as a species? We will run headfirst into that technology, and we'll find out the hard way what those bad things are. But I always bring this back. You know, you can look to the past for lessons to the future here. The thing that has killed humanity the most, the thing that has killed the most in general, the most dangerous things that we have ever encountered as a species is fire. And we chose as a species to harness fire, to learn it, and it still killed and burnt a lot of us, but it was very much responsible for keeping us safe at night there, lighting the way, keeping us warm, but it purposely allowed us to get more calories out of food than we were able to by cooking it, and allowed our brains, they think, to develop to the size out, to the complexity. So it's helped us, and to the fact now that even though it's the most dangerous thing that's ever existed, 2 feet that way, I've got a little fire in my cupboard there that does my heating, and that's totally safe. I don't think about it there. So although every technology presents its barriers, as long as we have the time, we could always lose the battle. We have to be conscious with it, but as long as we have the time to adjust and to make those decisions, then we can get the benefits from them as well. But I think the caution is something that we need a bit more of. Not the full stops of it, but the caution there. And harps, the 70s, what's that 80s thing? Oh no, I don't remember that one. And I agree, no, that one. TC as well. Well, 1C, keep up the good spot in there. I'm so far behind in the chat, but I have got my eye on it for the really, really interesting stuff there. And amen, they're crazy. I think there were some very good points there. And friend, I thought, the thought is we got fiber optics from that. Was that? Yeah, fiber optics, they say, you know, microchips, Velcro, Teflon and memory metal. Now, I've heard counter arguments for those, and I don't know, I'm not intelligent enough to know. But it would make sense. It would make sense that we have got these things from reverse engineering and stuff there. And where are we there? Trump is dripping out the alien stuff so that the normies can digest it there. You're going to see videos which will prove beyond all reasonable doubt that the aliens exist there. And medbeds too. So honestly, I think that is what's going on. I think it's actually quite a sensible disclosure, and I wasn't expecting a lot from the second round. We looked at them just before this stream, and there were some genuinely very interesting videos. It wasn't that slam dunk, but you go, well, I don't know what the fuck this is. And there was a brilliant one where you were seeing the traditional FLIR footage of a UFO flying around, and then but also in the background was an airliner flying, and you could see the heat, the shape, the speed of the airliner next to the UFO doing its thing, and you go, there is a big difference here. There is a big difference there when you get in those comparisons. If they come, we ain't doing much about it. Well, that is another good argument. Although I think, like, we look to, again, to the analogies here on Earth, like, look at the Iraq and the Afghanistan war and stuff like that. Much bigger powers, bigger budgets, massively ridiculous technology. We still struggled with that. We didn't win that one, did we, on the sides? You know, oh, nice blue one coming in. Let's see if we can get in on that. Sorry, just coughed on that one.
Zoom mode activated.
So again, the blue coloration isn't in of itself a slam dunk, but it is interesting when you look at all the others that we've been seeing tonight, and look how blue that one bloody is there. Again, there are potential reasons for that, you know, to do potentially the angle to the sun and stuff, but it does make you wonder, doesn't it, there? Because that's going to be changing. So when look at all the others as well. Even some of the other ones that are brighter, there's still a clear white. That has a clear, distinct coloration. But again, there are reasons and very good arguments that is not necessarily anomalous there. So we can't say 100% for sure. There, and I would be intrigued by what medical methods there. And I've heard a few things about there in that area, not a lot, but a few things. I think there'd be a lot of progress, a lot of things to be done there. And can you look above NL as well as the telescope? All kind of curious there. So what's NL? I'm not sure where that one is there. So look above. So we are looking at. Well, at the minute, we're actually using a camera, not a telescope at the second for that one. So we're getting quite a wide field of view, more on telescope there. But we can move it left, right, up and down, basically. We do want to do a telescope at some point. And here is a thought. The actual cruel aliens are us. Look at what we do to our one species and the planet there. And so what have they done to these explorers? And no one knows. Well, that, I think, look, we are cruel. We have cruel, but it isn't unique to us there. That is definitely through the mammalian chain. Honestly, I've got parrots, and they will tear their mate apart just because they're having a bad day. And then they'll be sad about it. Like, they're savage, and oh, that's a good one there, good spotting there. So I don't think, Blue Nose, thank you for the gift there. Oh, and I think I missed another one earlier that popped up there. It's very, very kind of you there, Blue Nose. Leanne, oh, sorry, as well there. Smokey J, God, I'm so far behind on the TikTok stuff. Blue Nose again there, and Tottenham as well. Thank you for the gifts, guys. Appreciate that. Gift subs, members, all that jazz does go back into the stream. I'm going to be over, nearly finished with the tube comments here. So it could be, I mean, look, I do worry what has happened. There are some rumours that it isn't too good for them. So I do worry about that sort of thing, but I don't think it's unique. I think that they wouldn't necessarily judge us for that. I think they would treat us like wild animals in the same way that we look at, chimps and stuff, and we go, right, don't jump in the enclosure, lad. We've got to be cautious. They're savage, but we kind of don't put the moral judgment on them there. So that would be my go-to. And I wish I had all of the text that are crazy. The problem is you get a bit, and then you realise there's a hell of a lot more. That's a nice big bright one coming in there. Can you not see that on there? I think that's directly behind me. Hold on, let me spin this around. Again, tubers, TikTokers, sorry, you're getting a really crap, there you go, look at that bright one there. You're getting a crap field of view compared to the tube, so you want to jump over there and check that one out. Pro move is having the tubes on the TV or a projector, and then the chat open for the TikTok there. But yeah, there's always extra gadgets to get there. And, oh my God, wait, I thought I was coming to the head of this there. You will love what's coming very soon. I hope so. And crazy there. I've heard of med beds. I've heard of that, and they're like separating the body parts as well. And look at the movie Sphere, if I remember correctly. Wasn't it about a sphere that made dreams come true? And what did they conjure? Oh my God. Baron, I literally watched half of it the other day, and I haven't come back to the other half of it. But I think that is where it was going, basically. But yeah, I remember that. Yeah, they're starting to do all that sort of stuff, and they think it's an entity or something. So yeah, very interesting there. And Trump is going to release 6,000 new technologies, which were created by Tesla. Well, it's Trump's family, wasn't it, that actually got the documents when he died there. And David spoke about it there. Who's David for that one? And we're all part of the Great Awakening there. Well, it does feel like, it's changing in a real fundamental way there. Out of ear ringing since 3i passed. You definitely have on that. And a few people are picking up these connections, correlations to things that may be going on in the wider system of things. And where are we there? With med beds, we won't need hospitals anymore there. And amazing times ahead. And yeah, that's going to be an interesting one. Like any technology, it puts people out of work and stuff. And the disc in the clouds was nuts. That was a good one, but I liked the colour footage. I really did like the colour footage of some of those things. And UFOs as well there were very prevalent after the invention of nuclear weapons. And in the late 40s, before that, sightings were much rarer. So there does seem to be a real increase around that, and generally around the activity of nuclear facilities, whether it's mining, weapons storage, weapons development there, weapons silos. They nuclear submarine. They are interested. There does seem to be a very, very strong correlation to it there. And I heard it did a 90-degree turn. We were seeing that anomalous movement. What we're looking out for tonight, that same sort of thing there. And we don't have technology that can do that as humans anywhere near. Not even like a few steps ahead. Oh, the government's got a secret thing. No, this is different realms of fields there. It would be good there, and it is easier to tell alien technology because the patents are from aerospace industry and not actually a person. All very interesting. There is the metal, is it nitinol, something like that. The memory metal that the actual came from a military lab. Or not a government lab that's associated with that. And one of the scientists that is on the paper, the patent paper for this memory metal, literally said, no, we based it on the Roswell crash wreckage material. It's our poor human impression. And, for fucking chat things. Where do we get to there? almost like things from the Ark, a game I play, come to be a real thing. But this is it, isn't it? Like we don't come up with new and original ideas. We take from the, good artists, unconsciously take from the society the clues around us where things generally are. And the games, like, it does end up like, actually, that there was something going on that kind of created that idea, something in the zeitgeist. And wouldn't it be great if human doctors, I worked alongside alien doctors. I think there is a future in something like that. It might take us a while to get there. We can't force the rate of change, but I don't see why not over a long enough period of time. Aliens live among us there. Remember what Lady Di said about the royal family. I don't remember what that Lady Di said there, and I'm burning up there. 2 fans on. Whiskey doesn't help. Paul, I feel you. The first time I ever had the fan on stream, I refused to just because of the background noise. It's bloody annoying. But I gave in tonight. He is too. I'm not built for this one, Paul. I'm feeling you there. And on Paul as well. Thank you for the gifts there, the members there. Appreciate it. Who got that one? And Hearns, you got the members there, so you'll be able to watch our members' videos there, the deep dive we just did earlier, and you'll be able to join us on the future members' deep dives, looking into the documents if that is your cup of tea. So thank you for that one there. Medbeds will cure everything, who we reverse engineered their tech from a downed spacecraft in Roswell, etc. There's lots of rumours about that going on there, and I lean that could be, it's definitely plausible, isn't it? Both of them. Aliens literally means strangers, but always makes people think of outside grey aliens. But strangers can come from inside or outside, or ones secretly living amongst us. Well, that is, we do tend to treat it that way, do we? And we default to the extraterrestrials, other beings from other planets, which I do think is highly plausible, and we're getting evidence that there is something like that going on. But also, you've got the temporal aspect here, time, us from the future or the past, or beings from Earth from the future or the past. Very strong indicators that could be what's going on to some degree. But then you've also, on top of that, got dimensional aspects here. Some of those orb sightings really tick that box there. But maybe the I can't remember what the term for this one is, but it's the previous civilization, maybe a divergent civilization of humanity has been around in this same form with the same brain for a very, very long time. Humanity could have easily developed and been wiped out and reset, and maybe there's an advanced species that buggered off for a bit and has come back. There are loads of things. Maybe they've been here along. Maybe they went underground and now they're with us here. And working is a scam there. We're still in a slave system. So I go against that sort of thing at the minute. I think that, yes, we are all in a system. We're all under control. But we have to remember that life wasn't a utopia before society and structure there. Society, whatever version of it is, whatever political system, whichever we are, these are our human attempts to incrementally improve the general experience. If you look over time, we are objectively better off than medieval peasants, but there are things that we have had to give up, and we might not have got this version right, but it does feel like we're on a higher trend there, and things like that. There's a lot of times that we'll throw away the good with it just because there's a bad angle, because the product hasn't been refined yet. And I feel like society and those sorts of things, it gets a bit of a rough deal. Money as well. Oh, money's bad. It's like, there's definitely bad bits to it. There definitely is. We ain't figured it out 100% yet. But also, I wouldn't want to be trading sheep when I'm desperate for medicine, especially if I don't have any sheep. Actually, interesting side note here. They do think that money actually wasn't necessarily developed to kind of avoid the initial bartering system to make them more efficient. I actually think it was done to kind of pay off blood debts. It was the easiest way to quantify, to pay somebody off, so then they didn't come after your family if one of your family had done something else. Interesting theory. Don't know how true it was, but these things are so complex but so interesting there. How about teeth healing that I need? Oh my god, crazy. You're speaking like I've got front teeth, the back are gone. I can barely chew anything now. It's so expensive, so ridiculous. And apparently we have nerves in our teeth because of fish back in the day, all that way down the evolutionary train there. So I'm going, why the fuck do I need to know my teeth? And my gum's going to tell me so it's hot or cold. I'm not an idiot. Why do I need a nerve? Why does it keep going wrong? And apparently it is just a leftover part of the sensing environment there from like whatever it was, prehistoric fish creatures there, because that's how they sense the environment with those nerves or something like that. Thanks, fish. I don't want plastic rubbish. Yeah, there isn't a good alternative there. That's the thing that I want. Yeah, new teeth there. My advice to all is to buy XRP and hold on to it. What's XRP? And we did just passed the bridge to the second floor of Starship Island. We haven't done the Starship Island in ages, guys, there. And we I remember my uncle telling me about the Roswell crash. He heard a rumour that a kid got a ball that his dad snuck away, and the kid dented the ball, and the next morning the ball was perfectly round. That probably fits in the memory metal description, and you know that some people did. They looked for it, and they tore up farms, apparently, when the records kind of coming out. Now, something definitely went on there. I would love to, because there's arguments about the initial spot, but I think we're starting to narrow it down exactly where it did happen in the records. And I'm desperate to go out there and do a skywatch from there. Wouldn't that be cool? I also have Barrett's, I can't even pronounce esophagus there, so it can't be healed, and would be great. Well, hopefully this technology is on the horizon for those things there. And crazy, it'll be the first patient. Oh, I would be for the teeth ones there. And how you doing there? Is that Ulukaya? Sorry, I probably totally pronounced that wrong, but do correct me. And there, where are you joining us from tonight? My name is Mert. Sorry, greetings from Turkey. Oh, welcome aboard there. Very good to have you. How are your skies? Have you ever seen anything strange? Again, guys, if you're joining us just now, this is a live UFO UAP Skywatch, and we're coming to you live from Wiltshire in the UK, which is right in the heart of Crop Circle country and just down the road from Stonehenge. So very weird and wonderful things in these skies over the years. Do help us spot it. Drop the grid reference in the chat, but also just say hello and let us know where you're watching from. If you've had an experience, we'd love to hear about that. So I'm quite behind in the chat. You poor TikTokers, I've been waiting patiently, and I'm going to get over to you soon. I'm almost done with the tubes now. But yeah, I will get to you there. I'll be thanks, Fish. Exactly there. And Shames, how are you doing there? And the phantom pain or phantom teeth is still a thing. It really is. It's amazing how it works there. Oh, it's the new financial system coming there. Banking is being destroyed. And XRP, I don't even know. Is it like a Bitcoin, a crypto sort of thing? And then greetings from Netherlands there. How you doing? Oh, the good one's crazy. I like that. Again, Netherlands are very active, those guys. And Lee, hi mate there. Yeah, it's hot. But if you're sat there in your Speedos below the desk, then let's hope you don't have to go out the window. And I'm going to forget, just sitting in there. Not even pants, guys. It's too hot. You don't want me to stand up there. And where are we doing that? Oh, good spotting there, CJ. Good spotting. So again, if it's anomalous enough, the chat, the mods will highlight the grid there. And love from the lake of the Ozarks, caveman. Again, phenomenal terrain around there. How are your skies there? I feel like crypto is not the thing either. Again, I like some of it, but I'm always suspicious that there's somebody behind the scenes pulling the strings there. But then I just don't trust anybody with that one. And a wild idea is that we're genetic experiments of an exospecies, Earth being their sandpit, and dinosaurs just being an experiment also. We could, that, honestly, I'm a fan of that. I could totally see that one. Yeah. Any scary stories from the Ozarks? Would love to hear them as well. And it's crowded right now. That's why I stay in the woods at my house. Nice in the woods there. But where are we? You should research Stonehenge there. It was built in the early 50s there. Mind-blowing if you research it. I've seen the images of them, doing the reconstruction of it and stuff like that. I'm definitely open to it being a little bit more of a sort of shenanigans there. But I think there is stuff that, there is stuff going back. It is an ancient site. But is our interpretation anything close to what it actually looked like? Probably fucking not. Probably not at all. It's just up the road. You've got the West Kennet Long Barrow, so like a big stone tomb under a hill. And that was one that had collapsed. And the antiquarian, the pre-historians at the time, did their best, based on their understanding, to rebuild it. And we now know that it's nothing like correct. So maybe Stonehenge is out like that. All 50 states declared travel to the lake. Decided to travel to the lake there. I imagine a bit of a holiday spot in the weather. And how are you doing? Is it nocturnal frequency there? I should say evening, but how are you doing there? Beach hut in Sussex now. Also knee scrapers there. Not too bad actually. If you're on the beach, that I could like that one. I could like that one. Might be a bit hot in the day. Right, bouncing back over to the TikTok. It's probably going to take me 6 years to catch up there, where I got to in the chat. But let me get up with you guys. Oh, we got to the looping. Brad, how are you doing, Brad? And thank you for the gift. That's very kind of you there. John and Leanne as well. Thank you for those. But how the devil are you, Brad? Good to see you in. Sorry it's taken me so long there. Harley as well. Thank you for the gifts there. Eric there. What's that in 2A? Again, so far behind. Even the stars have probably moved now. You don't know. I'll throw some zooming in a bit there. Hugo as well. Thank you for the follow. Guys, if you're new here, if you're following and subscribe, do say hello. Let us know where you're watching from there. If you had an experience, do let us know. But yeah, actually, make sure you are followed and subscribed, because we do this basically every night. And we've got a straight week of good skies. So you want those notifications when we go live there. My brain is backward in the grid. it doesn't help, does it, that the numbers like are going in the wrong direction? But it's the only way that I can figure out anyway that they match up, are both, you know, horizontal to vertical. Although technically, maybe. Maybe there's a better way of doing it. I can't get my brain around at the minute there. Is there not a green belt, regardless of the cycles? Well, I can't remember now what we were talking about. Was that the global warming stuff? Probably, yeah. I mean, the most hospitable bit is going to be, it's the middle out, isn't it? Also, not essentially the most hospitable. But yeah, it changes very, very differently there. How you doing, Grandad M, as well there? And they spray for a rain with planes. Yes, they definitely do. They've been doing that for a very, very long time. But they're also looking to experiment with other strange things there that I wouldn't want to be messing with personally there. You know, the law of unintended consequences. We tend to think we know things, and then we go, shit, we've caused more problems there. We do. We do that. And cloud seeding, yeah, that's the one. How's it going, Matt? Good to see you in there. Okay, I'm getting the grid thing. You like the grid thing. You like it really there, Kate. Our community just teared up there. Oh, excellent. Our community is we are very lucky, Yvonne, as well. And that is the thing. What I do love about it is that it's such a diverse range of people there. And different people, different experiences can mean different answers there. You know, nothing changes is nothing changes. And we're all products of our own environments, you know. So we tend to, you know, believe the things that we've experienced, which is, you know, quite true, especially throwing it there. But if we're trying to solve a bigger problem like this, how are we ever going to crack it unless we have people that come in and share the experiences that are different to ours, to go, you know, the phenomena is not always just, you know, an orange orb in the sky. I've only seen an orange orb, but then somebody comes in and says it's a green orb, and go, okay, right, it's multi-changing there. We need that range, don't we? So I second that very much there, Yvonne. And it seems a bit quiet tonight there, and possibly because I'm so slow on the chat on the TikTok there. It has slowed down a bit, but I think we're also getting a lot of light pollution from the moon. Oh, there we go. Shooting star, bang down the middle of the screen there. That was a good one. See how the green? That was pretty cool to see. Nature putting on a show right there for us there. And they're like, freed him, exactly, Yvonne. And I was thinking that it was so active last night. It was actually there. And Blue Nose, thank you for the gifts there, just getting down to the chat. And I haven't been on TikTok much. I like to read a lot more in the evening now. And probably much wiser there, calming down a bit there. So quite high stimulation. Like some people do fall asleep to this, which is mad, but if you're enjoying it there. You're always quiet when you join, Brad. And that's fine. However you want to interact. Like, guys, if I'm on a live, and it's very rare, but if I'm a lurker. I don't do anything in the comments there. So look, if that's you, you are more than welcome. If you're getting something out of it, that's all I care about there. But if you do want to ask questions, do feel free to ask away there. If you do want to share your stories or just say hello there, that is also very, very encouraged. And Simon, how are we doing there? Sorry it's taking me so long to get around. Yes, Simon Gregory there as well. And hey, up there, any... Ayup's daughter here. I have no idea what's happening, but I hope you're all having fun. Ayup's daughter, have you been subbed in whilst Ayup's now at a gig? Has she left you behind? Good to see you in there. And where are we down now? Tottenham in my veins. Thank you for the follow. Where are you in the time? Thank you for the gift as well there. And where are we? Kate coming in with the stickers. Oh, night Yvonne as well there, and Kate as well coming in with the shares there. Again, it is the likes and shares, guys, that does help us reach more and more like-minded people there, like yourself. Oh, hello, that one just flared up.
Zoom mode activated.
This is very orange, and it's changing brightness, and it come out of nowhere, not out from the Earth shadow. Confirm that. Did I just only see it when it came in from that part of the screen? Or, because to me, it looked like it just started halfway through. Did anybody else see it before that point come in? Because that is very interesting, because that's the reverse of the Earth shadow, so we can't... So that is very interesting, that just flared up in the middle. But anyway, big, bright orange. Orange is one of the colours that's how a warp drive might potentially look to us as part of the coloration there, ionising a layer of plasma around the craft. Not warp drive, sorry, the other one method of propulsion, essentially. Ionised layers of plasma around the craft, which to us looks big, bright and orange there. So that is interesting.
Anomalous object confirmed.
So thank you, that is pretty interesting. God, I'm so far behind on the chat there. I'm not going to see the answers to those questions in a bit there. And it's too good. I've been using it all week there. Which emoji is that one? I can't see it. I can't even see it on my... I don't think I've got the upgrade. I've just got an X there. And Smokey J there, thank you for the gifts as well. Leanne coming in with the shares. Again, appreciate all of that. And Blue Nose in with the gifts as well there. And right for the middle. You saw that one. And don't forget to comment. Thank you, Leanne. I'm on the TikTok looking at my sky. let us know if you do spot anything. This thing, you know, multitask. You want to see your own skies. You can let us know any of those experiences that you might have live there in Freeman. Beautiful night over the North Sea, a very clear skies now. Think of how little light pollution there is out there. That has got to be phenomenal there. How are you doing, John, as well there? What's happening? It's a lovely clear night. That's what's happening. We're hanging out with all of you guys. So how are you doing, John, there? And Ian, nice. You need a city or much a lit up area there. So we're not actually. I used to be, again, and that's the main reason doing the streams. I moved to the country about a year ago, just over, and yet it was a city, you know, and it was all very light polluted, never paid much attention. But moving here, like the first night, I went, oh my, Jesus Christ. So yeah, we are very fortunate with some of that as well. Kate coming in with the shares, John as well. Thank you for the gifts there, but we haven't said thanks already there, and loving the feed him. Thank you, Kate, for running. It takes me a while. I'm bouncing between 2 different platforms tonight there, so I have to catch up with one and then the other. But you've had some wonderful questions tonight, so it takes me a while there. I saw a disappearing satellite in my sky, which is odd because there are so many that past that same spot. It's very, very difficult, isn't it? I mean, so we have the Earth shadow that comes in there. As the sun goes around, that shadow comes out more, but it's not a straight line. It kind of angles out depending on your altitude there. So we will see a rough line where at some point in the night the satellites will just start to fade into there, you know, if it's at their alignment. But they go one way. You know, they can't be going light, and then to dark, and then go light, into dark that way. It doesn't work like that. Shadows don't work like that. So if you're seeing the difference there, if it's not that shadow line, that can be very interesting, Kate. Very interesting indeed. Coming in with the hashtags there. Oh, she's currently on driving duty there, and I'm just here for the ride there, I guess. Are you the designated driver? You're going to have to hold your mum's hair back when she's had too much there. She puts us all to shame, does A up? Like, I haven't been to a gig in absolute years. I'm too old for it. Put me in the ground. But we're all very, very impressed by that one. And it's been pulsing orange. Oh, and I was scrambling to get back inside to grab the hub's phone for the grid there, Kate. You just got to grab it out of his hands. There, it's flashing in A for A comes. But you did a good shout, though. You tried. But that was interesting. So did anybody see it across the whole sky? Did it come in halfway? Or is that just, a product of me not paying attention there? Because that was pretty cool. Let's have a look. Where do we get to over on the tubes there? Go to Beach Sussex there. And what's your thoughts on Tartaria? So that's one that I don't fully know on. I haven't done a lot of looking, but I mean, look, there's so many things in this world that I think could be interesting and anomalous there. To go through them all, just take forever. So I tend to wait until there's one bit of information that might come across my desk, so to speak, that hooks me. And I go, oh, actually, and then I'll look in a bit more deeper. And I haven't really had that yet with the Tartaria stuff. I have seen a couple of videos, because I'll have a look. And the videos that I've seen, there's been some really easy things that they've gotten wrong. And that might not mean that the rest of it is wrong at all, or that, other creators haven't got other things that totally prove it. But like, it kind of stopped my journey. It wasn't like a natural flow. I immediately come to that's what they were showing was balls, basically. So I think there is something to do with there's something going on there, but I'm not a big fan of the mud flood at the minute. Again, I don't say anything 100% there, because I know that I don't know a hell of a lot, and there's definitely been a few things that I've gone, it's bollocks, mate. And then, like, yeah, I have to eat my hat on those. But yeah, at the minute I haven't seen that thing that hooks me with it. What is it in itself? Is there anything that you think is really interesting there that's like a good starting point, the best part of that? And Caveman as well. That my thing of it is the big, bright, electric blue football-shaped orbs. Now, very interesting. That really makes me think of the plasmoids there, and that is, I think, going to be responsible for a lot of what we are seeing. Not all of it by any means there, but the idea that the plasma caught in a magnetic field could be a form of sentient life in itself. It's apparently displaying those characteristics, those behaviours, and I think could be a part of it there. So I think they're pretty cool there. And Nocturnal there, I subbed, and hey, from Canada, by the way. You know what? I don't know if I've had anybody in from Canada. Not that they've mentioned it to us there, but hello and welcome in there. Maybe one or two, but I mean, massive country. Are you in more an urban area or out in the sticks in the rural areas? Because I bet you have very little light pollution in some of those places. And thank you for the sub. Very welcome in tonight there. And CJ, I saw an interdimensional being there, 8th 2023 there in Washington State. So what did the interdimensional being in your experience look like there? Because I do find the dimensionality very interesting angle here. Like, they do think, I mean, if you go by string theory, there are going to be a hell of a lot
Zoom mode activated.
of dimension. I mean, just look at the difference between these two sides and coloration there. But again, nothing necessarily interesting until it changes course, speed, or trajectory there. So keep your eyes on them. But yeah, I think we treat it a bit wrong. We have a pop culture understanding. We think other dimensions is like another world that you can just walk into, like a pocket universe, and that's not quite right. Dimensions are the same space that we operate in now, but a different part of it. So we're multi-dimensional. We operate in 3 spatial dimensions: forwards and backwards, left and right, up and down, and then forward in time. That's the temporal. But string theory, which I don't think is correct there, they posit anywhere from 11 to 20 odd dimensions there. I mean, there's probably some weirder ones as well, and I don't think string theory is necessarily good, but I think there are other things going on that could allow for a lot more spatial dimensions. I mean, temporal ones as well. But yeah, science hasn't really cracked to that one yet. But there is we played the other night. There's an interesting video there of like what would a 4-dimensional shape interacting in a 3-dimensional world look like to us, because if we can't perceive that dimension, we're just not going to experience it in any way, shape or form. We can't even mentally conceive of it. So we kind of see it in the only ways when it does act in the 3 dimensions, but that will look weird to us. And a lot of these orb sightings really, really fucking fit that description. Like, really fit that description. So I'm a big fan of the dimensional aspects of it there. Oh, caveman, where did we get to? Bloody. Oh my god. Sorry guys, I'm trying to find the place in my chat. And I've only seen it one time. Still very, very interesting. And the movement on screen is it lag, or do they move in a laggy way and jumpy? Not sure what to call it. So no, that is actually live, but it's probably to do with the camera itself. So we've got a very long exposure time, roughly speaking, to let as much light in as possible. So what that does is kind of gives it that little jumpy bit, but it also stretches it out a little bit sometimes. So there's a little bit there. We're trying to let in as much light as possible. I've got to head off now, Baron, there, but always good to see you. Hopefully we'll catch you on tomorrow as well there. And investing site half an hour ago, up the road from you, got the you got in the Midlands there. So solid lights converged on a single spot, then moved apart there. Not sure what to make of that one. So that is very interesting. That for me feels like the plasmos, feels like that life form. It sounds like very organic behaviour there, not mechanistic there. CJ as well, green red orb, very interesting. And good looking, how are you doing there? And Peter North here, old adult film star, retired, and I love the stream. Thank you, Peter, that is pretty awesome. And honestly, I wish I could enter a room with that. That is pretty epic there, Peter. And you're very welcome in it. So you're a big fan of the weird and wonderful. Have you ever seen anything yourself? Do tell us more. I'd love to hear that one. And where is that one there? Oh my god, my eyes tonight. Is that... What's that one saying? Oh, I'm going to have to actually physically move to closer to the screen now, guys. This is how old I'm getting there. It is Jules there. Hello from my boat in the UK there, searching the dark skies above the Medway. Beautiful tonight. You know what I did? Oh, there's a greeny one in the top there coming through in B1. That's an interesting one. Look how bright that one is in 3. That's flaring. In A3, it's gone down now. But I once looked at a boat on the Medway, actually. Being especially in weather like this, like out in the estuary, that looks pretty awesome. That is a nice green one. It's going to be too light for me to zoom in on it, but have a look at that one. A2 at the minute, guys. See if it does anything strange. Oh god, where did my chat go there? But yeah, that sounds idyllic there. Let us know if anything strange happens there. And had an experience back in 2003 with a series of orange orbs over Lake Ontario. Oh, what was their movement like? And could you get like a feel for size there, Nocturnal? That's pretty cool. There, CJ Coffee. I don't sleep as it is. Any beings nocturnal? Oh, I am an awful sleeper, hence why we do this. But good videos about UAP and a weather phenomenon. I mean, this is another angle there. You know, there can be a natural explanation to some of it there, and we have to be open to that, but I don't think it's going to be all of it there. CJ, keep up the good spot in there. No beings, just activity in the sky. That's a very cool sighting, though. And Nathan as well. I've been playing a game there. Whenever Sam says there, I take a shot. Oh, you're going to be trashed. Yeah, in the ambulance. We was going to do a counter there, Nathan. It's my filler word. It means it gives my brain 10 seconds extra to think and to read there. Oh my God, where are we? What was that there? What was that with the I'm far behind there. Was that the big flashing orange one? 3 balls. Oh, I have some footage actually there. It's not the best, but I have them nonetheless. Now that is still pretty cool. And it's difficult to get it. Like my times when I've been outside physically and I've seen something, I've recorded it. Absolute crap, but let's see if you even remember to record. So I'd love to see it there. Keep up the good spotting there as well. I've been following for a while these legit videos of people who are skywatching syndicate there. That is cool there. And again, what a world that we live in where people can crowdsource all of that. And we can see more sightings there. Southern Ontario. Yep, roughly I know on the map for that one. 586 feet away there, hovering silently. Now, silently, we don't know anything that could, even just displacing air, even if you didn't have a combustion engine, that is still going to produce noise. And why do many experienced skywatchers claim UAP activity appears responsive to attention there? And intention observation itself. So yeah, I've heard exactly the same things. People do say that the consciousness, the CE5 connection there can get them to show up, or even sometimes just saying, hey, would you wink for me? And sometimes they will. There's a very strong correlation or positive results to that sort of activity, but also, yeah, shining a laser at them back in the day, just flashing a torch, their prime numbers and things. It's not something we've tried yet, but I am looking at ways that we can do it a bit more to see into that. And the mud flood was a reset of the world by the elite, just like they reset trying to pull off today in Model 3. They have done many times in the past. But this time it's being used against them there. This is the Great Awakening there. There, you misread. No, it's fine. And it is funny. Got to laugh at ourselves as well, haven't we? That's a green one. Can I get over to that in time? Sorry, guys. Distracted.
Zoom mode activated.
Look at that. That's a nice shade of green there. A very nice shade of green. Again, due to the, I think it's the red and blue shifting of the light, that they do think that essentially that would change the colour of that light being emitted to green. So it could be a warp drive signature. Where are we? Ooh, cursor, where are you hiding? There you are. Saw the real deal back in 2019 in June there. I am direction from the English Channel. The triangle object saw the detailed underside. A great altitude was 4,000 feet there. Didn't make any sound. Triangle size between 200. That is phenomenal. But you saw the detail. That is what I really crave, to have an experience there. We're not just seeing the light, from it, but we're seeing that shape, the actual craft surface. I think that for me would just be phenomenal there. 38 years of researching there. I know stuff that would blow your mind there. Would love to know there. Do you do phone-in? So we do want to. We actually do want to, but I haven't figured out a good way of doing it yet. But we have dabbled with the idea. But yeah, it is on the list at some point. So hopefully we might figure out a way of doing it, because I do quite want to do it there. Tesseracts are amazing and stuff, but if it's still a 3D representation of a 4G object, like a shadow. Yeah, exactly. And that gets my head around. So you're not actually looking, because we can't conceive of it. But it is the brain there as well. But I think things could be going on there. And Stuart McDonald, how are you doing? Good to have you in there. 38 years and 6 days we are watching you. Hold on, that's close to like my age. You've been literally been watching me all the whole time. That's a couple of months on that. And do you think that dimensions could exist in light frequencies? We can't see them. Or you know what? I don't know with that one. That's something I'm going to have to really think about to bend. I mean, I can barely grasp the science of a lot of these things here. Talk a good talk, lads. But cognitively, I'm pushing the computer. It gets a bit hot with this. So maybe. It's actually quite an interesting angle, but I really will have to I have to get my brain into it there. And I do have receipts. What's that for the ambulance? Well, hey, if you've got any good stories, do share them away. We'd love to hear them on that one there. And friend, that is really great. It really is there. Oh, night, mate. We'll catch you later there as well. And would colour matter where they come from and what a being they are? It's a very good question there. Yes. So, and you're right, man. Definitely does some cool photos there. So, yes and no. Like, there is a practicality to colour. You know, it's part of the light spectrum, and you know that is part of the electromagnetic wave. Essentially, it's energy at a certain frequency. So even though we see that represented as colour, again, it's just energy again. So they will still interact with it in that frequency, in that difference of a frequency sense, but you know, they might not have the same dependence on the colour or the same matching association that we do. I'm the thing hunter. You're close. As well there. Where are we there? We use Google Meet at Disclosure tonight there for phone-ins. It's free. So, yeah, Google Meet is the one that I do use for work. So I am actually quite a fan of that one. That is not too bad. Where are we? It keeps scrolling ahead of me. Sorry, guys. Got to try and scroll through. I lost my... There we are. Good night there as well. Was that? No, you're saying good night to Maya. But yeah, no, I think we was looking at other ways of bringing it all in and stuff, because we have to distribute it out to other places there. And then the way I've got my mic wired in, it's always a pain in the arse. But the main thing is that because we never know when the sky is going to be clear, it's quite hard to keep to a schedule. Is the main one. So over the winters, we have a lot more opportunities for it. But yeah, it's a... Oh, you sent your Sony A7S3 in for the full spectrum now. Oh, Nathan. I need to see those images, man. I need to see, or like a little clip of video of what the night sky looks like with that, you know, with the full spectrum, because that is like on my dream list. Like that is the objective, is to get that. So, like, I mean, we've got the Mark 1. It's obviously older a bit. But we want to do the full spectrum modification for that, so it'd be absolutely awesome. There, the blue hexagon field, on Saturn's North Pole is amazing. It is, and that blew my mind. Are you actually in Trowbridge there? I feel like you might have mentioned that one before. Is it Nate there? So, man, you are just down the road from us. You are literally just down the road. Hence the thing hunter there. Yeah, you're after it as well. Perfect there. Well, at some point, I have to do it there. Oh, 100%, Nathan, 100%. Do you drive? Because that makes it a lot easier at night for these areas. Trains around here are crap. I don't drive anymore. But yeah, no, 100% we'll have to do something. But yeah, the Saturn, if you look at it, you see all the beautiful stripes, the banding around that planet, don't you? But if you look, I think I remember the top or the bottom of it, there's a hexagon. They say nature doesn't do... nature doesn't do straight lines and, you know, right angles, but it does do a bloody hexagon on Saturn. That's pretty awesome there. Ah, perfect. There, Nathan. Yeah, well, then it'll be nice and easy. Yeah, well, next time we're doing... it's difficult. We never know when the weather's going to be clear. But next time we do something, we'll give you a shout. And yeah, you can show us the kit or something, and we can see some of the things you've got there. Now, that is pretty cool, because, I mean, that is the initial thing. Is, you know, the thing. I'd love to hear about your experiences. Hello from Mississippi. Ah, how are you doing, Isa? Welcome aboard there. Nice. Oh, I used to have the old VWs. Oh, that's a... Me, that's green. Gonna clip that.
Zoom mode activated.
Talk about... That is ridiculously green. Like, ridiculously. Now, again, green is exciting for a lot of reasons there, but if it's particularly low, which, again, this one isn't particularly bright or fast, so... Oh, I'm going to zoom back out to catch it. But they can interact with the atmosphere, causing the light to go green. So again, it's not a slam dunk, but look how green that one is. And it looks, you know, it doesn't look like it's particularly low. None of the others are... that is an interesting one right there. I mean, just look at some of the colours tonight. Look, compared to that one to that one. Yeah, I used to love a camper. I'm not allowed to drive for medical reasons anymore, but I miss that very, very much. All of the adventures, God, I'd be everywhere if we were still driving there. I see no blue dot blinking one time, left side of the screen. Oh, very interesting. Sometimes we get there's a couple of, like, we've got a red pixel at the minute. It's right on the line of A3 and 2 there. That's a duff pixel, but the blue ones are interesting. 2 to 3 minutes ago. Right, I did just clip that one. That's the perfect time, so that should be cool. If I check the clip afterwards, I'll see if it's there. A4 is flashing. Is it a stationary flash? Oh, no, that one's... it's kind of pulsing a bit there. Good spotting. Let my stuff out there, although I've been... the quiet it for a while there, getting the new camp hut together. Yeah, if I type that in now, Nathan, then I will remember it, because I have a hard habit of coming off these streams and then packing everything away and then just crashing out. Not sleeping, but crashing out. And then I go, totally forget. Aha, I think the Thing Hunter. Right, there we go. I'll have a look at those. Thank you, Nathan. Again, that is what's brilliant. We meet people that are doing this stuff. And again, the more people looking, the more people getting information, the better. It's like having more sensors out there in the system. Higher chance of collecting that evidence there. Oh, yes, you just... totally missed it there. Right, bouncing back over to the TikTok. Let's have a look. Where did we get to? Oh, you saw it. Oscar, how are you doing today there? Saw it come across from either B2, consult origin. So I saw it from B2. So I think I saw it from B3, B4-ish in the sky, somewhere around that. So if you've seen it, then maybe it was fully going across there. And Harry, what is that in A2? Is a very good question there. Most of the time it's going to be man-made satellites, but we're paying attention. We're looking out for the anomalous ones, the ones that act a little bit strangely, and the ones that act in ways that satellites just can't, and therefore are something weirder. Hubs woke up and took his phone back and came back outside. Doesn't he not know what we're doing, Kate? He has to make sacrifices. Oscar, all of the aliens are hiding on Europa. Spacefish there. Well, I mean, Europa is one of the main candidates, isn't it? Potential host for life there. And still, hey, daughter there, just a suggestion. Have you thought of merging both chats, the YouTube and the TikTok? I would love to. But TikTok is a pain in the ass. I've not figured out a way of doing it yet. I can't seem to bring it in. If TikTok would give us a stream key, then I possibly could do it. But I have no idea. If there is a way of doing it, I would like to do that one. That would be much better. But where are we? Drewski, are you finishing at 12:30? Probably, Drewski. We'll see. It's quite a good night tonight, and it is a bank holiday. Hello from Glasgow there, the east end of Glasgow, there. Paul, good to have you in there. I've had experience, and I've seen it. Let us know, Paul. Let us know. We'd love to hear about those ones. So do let us know whilst we're still on there. Tick as well. Drewski, thank you for the gifts there. John as well for those. It said it all goes back into the stream. Members, super chats, patrons, all that jazz does as well there. Is he on the YouTube chat? Wait, who's that? Oh, he's probably, if we're talking about Thing Hunter, yeah, that he will just have a chat over on the YouTube there. Sam is definitely behind in the chat. Thank you, Kate, for the heads up there. Paul, our experience saw one, and as I was watching it, a big black grey cloud appeared, and it was covered. I mean, that would make sense for cloaking, wouldn't it? You know, like, we do this behaviour, we spoof radar signatures, but tanks will literally have smoke grenades on them, not just tanks, but also armoured vehicles. There's another green one that's making me suspicious now. They would just put smoke clouds out, you know, to hide them, but what better way there by something that's naturally forming. There are things only visible in the infrared that could be possible. So very true. They are very true. That is one thing that we'd like to do with the full spectrum modification there, is actually be able to look in that light frequency there to see things that we otherwise might have missed. So I mean, that is a lovely green one there as well, which is making me think that maybe it's atmospheric or there's something environmental there, because we're seeing multiple of them. Good spot in there, Oscar, as well. And that Luca, as well. Are all those moving things? Oh, that's a bright one at top. That in B1, just leaving the screen there. They look like moving stars. Satellites, most of them, yeah. There are a lot of man-made satellites up there. And what's happening is, although the sun has gone around for us here on the surface, it's not fully gone around. So those things still have a direct line of sight to the sun. And they're bouncing that light back down to us. That's how we're seeing them. But man-made satellites are going to do that. UFOs in orbit are going to do that too. Anything strange will act very similarly there. The only way we can really tell for sure is by their movement. If they do something strange, like stop dead, shoot up a speed, change their course or trajectory, that's something that satellites, man-made objects, just can't do. So that is a real eureka for us, a real slam dunk there. It's much rarer, but it does happen. So that's why we've got to pay attention and keep hunting them there. And both of the green ones came from the exact same direction. That's what it makes me think then. Is that something, the particular satellite sectors that are in orbit there that are a bit lower maybe? Or is that where the aliens are coming from? We do get random blue blinks often, that's a point. And he's obvious to the importance of the grid. He's oblivious. Kate, you've just not told him enough. We'll have to have a chat about that. I also saw a Tumblr with my own new eyes, so that was cool. I thought you were talking about Tumblr as in the website. I'm like, that takes me back. It's still a thing there, but no, that is pretty cool. Yeah, seeing it with your eyes, that's there. Oh, there's a third-party app that you can use and add to your stream deck there. Happy to... Oh, my God, yes, App's daughter. What is your name, actually, App's daughter? But, yeah, please, 100%, please. That would be amazing. That would actually solve so many freaking issues. I'd love to know that one there. And Hardware Hotel there. Apparently, celestial beings or orbs can manifest themselves just by us all thinking about them. Apparently, yes, there is this big consciousness connection, which really threw me, because I'm very nuts and bolts. I came into this thinking Roswell, little green men, metal spaceships, other planets, and that is just a small potential part of it here. I like this consciousness connection. There really does seem to be some interesting evidence for it. Not something we've played around with ourselves yet, but it is on the list there. And that's the third one from that direction. Keep up the counting, Drew. That's now your job there, to keep them on the... Oh, we got a triangle formation. Okay, this isn't a triangle ship here, but they haven't seen this since last summer. Can you see this one? Oh, I need to move the camera around so TikTok can see it. Right, there you go. Look at this one. No, there. No, you still can't fucking... What is going on with TikTok tonight? Why is that not on the screen? You see that one there? There we go. Look. There. And it's like it's perfectly formatted. So it's easy to get them in a row, but it's not easy to get them like this, you know, to get them side by side like that. Now, I think it was Kate that found this out. There is actually a satellite formation up there. I believe it's a gravitational wave detector there that is actually in that formation. But as you can see, as it's passing over the stars, you can still see them behind the gap there. We saw one once where it looked like, and you can't say for sure, but it did look like that it was blocking out the starlight from behind. So that is quite interesting to see that one. Look how bright those ones are as well. So that is interesting. Where are we in the chat? Let me get my cursor back over there. So yeah, no, the consciousness connection is very, very interesting. Unintentional blast in the past. That'll be that satellite. Yeah, that was the one there. It's still cool to look at. This is the thing. Right, back over to the tube. Where did we get to? Where did we get to in the tuber chat? Down for a night of Cradle Hill. So, Nathan, Cradle Hill is one we haven't actually done yet. We keep meaning to, but I need to go up during the day, and I just never get around to it. We do Battlesbury. No, Cradle Hill is... No, sorry. Clay Hill is the one I'm thinking of. There, Cradle Hill is nice and accessible. Battlesbury is quite good, because you can actually park right next to the footpath right at the top. Something just... seeped past quite... Oh, I did totally miss that one. Keep up the good spotting, though. I'll have to check it out in the replay. The main sighting spot for the thing, it was, they all used to go up there, wouldn't it? There's a walk, apparently, Nathan, next Saturday, like a thing walk where they're going to walk people around locally, all of the hotspots and stuff. I'm debating going to that. And how are you doing there, knee scrapers? I worked out the direction of the triangle object was coming from, was... the Paleo-nuclear power plant in Normandy, France, which fits very well, doesn't it, with the phenomena being interesting in those things. Now, the triangular ones are reported to be quite a lot to be the reverse-engineered TR3B, but not all of them. Some of them are potentially actually extraterrestrial ones there. I made a video from your stream to see... Oh, crazy. Love that. Again, clip away, guys. And that way it's easy for me to share things. There's a lot of flashing in A4. That was probably before I moved it, sadly. Who was mentioning that one as well? Yes, crazy. There should be, if you click on our profile, there should be like an email address there. I can't remember exactly what it is off the top of my head now, but there is an email. Or, guys, it goes for everyone. If you do want to join our Discord, that's a great place to send short video. I don't think you can do long ones without paying, but you can do short videos, images and stuff like that. You've got a personal experiences section where you guys are sharing what you've seen and spotted and stuff, plus the stream stuff. So definitely take us over there. And Amelia, we are technically on Twitch. We're not on there at the minute because I've stopped doing the cross streaming just to save bandwidth there. But we are on stream. We do normally triple stream at the same time, but Twitch is always the quiet one. It's never really kicked off for us there. Trains go by on the rails. John Henry laid. They slow down and take off. The hats the men do. They are very poetic there. When they come to the place where John Henry is laying, resting his back stone some morning. What's that? Is that a song? And it's a good picture tonight there, and much movement. It's not doing... I thought, honestly, the moon would be more of a problem than it has been, but it is still quite good tonight. But I think we can push it a bit better. I think this is an 8-9, but we can still get a 10 there. I haven't even checked if there was a ticket link for it. I was just going to message and possibly shove up. Well, hopefully, if I look into it, we'll let you know. Maybe a place to say hello. Right, let me bounce back over to the TikTok there. We're at. That's it there. Good spot in there, Geo, as well. And right, oh shit, I've just noticed the time. Yes, that is bedtime for me, sadly, guys. I did want to stay on a bit later, but I'm feeling actually quite sick in the heat of this room. So I think I'm going to wind it up for us here tonight. And yeah. No, I imagine it wouldn't be, but we'll see if it's just a broken link or if it is sold out. But yeah, I'm gonna call it for tonight, so I don't get too sick. But we'll be on again tomorrow, guys. Don't you worry. We're gonna be doing another Skywatch. We've got some awesome clear skies ahead of us this week still. So make sure you subscribe, follow, and you can join us all for that. And yeah, thank you again as always for hanging out, for keeping us company, for sharing your awesome stories and your knowledge there of the phenomena. We love all that. And yeah. Appreciate you tapping away, sharing, helping us build up our community there. Gift us sub as members and all that jazz. Extra love there for helping us improve the stream and what we do. So thank you so much, and Adam there coming in as well. But thank you, guys. We will we'll catch you all tomorrow night. Bye bye. Oh, look, there's a plane going over. Hold on. Let me just let this run. It's coming into D1 at the second. So. See it coming down the side of me there on TikTok. That is, again, that's what a plane looks like going over, guys. So we know we're not seeing planes because they're much bigger. Look, you can see it all going on there. Very, very different. Right, anyway, off again. Night.